Hey YouTube, it's your favorite mega church cult survivor Leah, and I'm live on TikTok, and I was just about to introduce myself, so I thought let me kill two birds with one stone. I need to remember I done that naughty done. I've got to move TikTok ever so slightly. Okay, yeah, I think we're fine now. All right. So my name's Leah Lauder, and I spent 18 years in a mega church cult. And you know, my boyfriend had just been unalived in police custody. I was 18 turning 19. I didn't know nothing about nothing. As you know, I just come off the X Factor as well. And you know what, guys, I had my whole future ahead of me, but they were telling me it was all demonic. Anyway, I ended up in this cult, and I was there for 18 years. A response shorter than that, though. I haven't been well. I'm really sorry. Because once you use health, like, they can't tell you nothing when you've done a poop. What can they tell you? What can they say? Yeah, so I come on and I talk about my experiences. Oh my God, I really hope I'm not going to have to confirm this. I come on and I talk about my experiences in the church cult. In January, I started talking about it, and loads of people started coming forward and sharing their accounts. And also, I've started to advocate for survivors that have left church cults, and we're a collective movement spamming worldwide. Now, I'm just going to get straight into it as I'm logging in. I know for a lot of us survivors, this is really hard because we've all been in these church cults. We've given our blood, sweat and tears. We've given years, we've given decades of our lives to just find out it's a cult. And then when you confront them about it, they're then telling you, gaslighting you and telling you that you're the DEVIL. And then all of a sudden, all of your years in the church cult, all of the hard work that you did, everything you did for that environment, all of a sudden, none of that matters. And you turn into the enemy. And the thing is, when you're in there, you never think that you can turn into an enemy. Do you get it? You believe that you're like a golden child when you're in there, especially when you first come in, because they'll love bomb the hell out of you. That's what they do. And these church cults, 1 second, guys. Sorry, YouTube. I just need to confirm that it's me logging into my email so I can get the notes. Sorry, guys. Let me just log in. All right. And all you need to know is, since I've started coming out and I've started speaking out, it's now developed into something a little bit more where I deliver like cult psychological education, and survivors who have been out or people who are thinking of leaving can log in, and you know, they can find validation, they find names for the ABUSC that they've been through. And the main way to heal through this, why is my glasses so blurry? The main way to heal through this is through making sense of your experience. You're trying to understand the process. You're trying to make sense of the experience, because that's the only way to be set free. Yeah, is understanding and processing what happened to you. It's not scriptures. It's not prayer. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And this is where survivors get a rude awakening, because there's been a lot of gaslighting. You've been living in a distorted reality. You're most likely in religious psychosis, post-cult exit. So you can't even decipher between what's real and what's not. You see it? So that's why I say to listen, you could come forward as a survivor. You could be speaking out and telling your story. But if you're still church cult hopping and you've got religious ideologies and you have not done the deconstruction work, don't message me. Don't hit me up. Everybody can make their videos. It's not the cult. Do you know what I mean? It's not. I don't police this movement. I don't police it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not like that. It's like whoever's got their voice, they've been through church cult, whatever. I've been encouraging people to speak up for years. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the issue that I've had with survivors is the ones who are still in religion and they're still church cult hopping. They're just too confused, man. It's like mixed race people. It's just bare confusion, man. And I don't mean that my brother's mixed. Do you know what I'm saying? A lot of people think I am, but I ain't. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get this. Sorry, guys. Guys, I have a splitting headache today. I'm so unwell. My body's weak. because your girl tried to go out on the mobility. You know, I've got a mobility scooter now because of my my mobility, and I've tried to go to the local town with my daughter. And guys, why am I buying things like I've got a car? Oh my God, guys, when I bought all of the stuff, I had to pack it all on the mobility scooter. So I've got all of that. I've got like the bags at the bottom. I've got 2 bags on each of the handles. My daughter's got the fan because yes, I tried to buy a massive fan. Like, and I'm telling her, push the box on mummy, push the box on mummy. Because I don't want the box to fall off in it. You lot, these times I tried to get on the bus, you know. Nah, I don't even know why even. But yeah, just a little joke I'll tell you. And that's merit to my personality, like who I am. I'm definitely the man that's gonna get the job done. And for a lot of these spaces, especially these church cult spaces, they love like go-getters. They love busybodies. If you're a busybody, you know, you like doing everything for everybody, you're a little pick-me, Beverly Hills in the cut. You might be a Barbara the Builder. You might like to build a man up. And that's why I say, not to be like funny or to be whatever, but just like, it's just facts. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, majority, hi queen, majority of the gal them that are in these spaces, they're pick-me's and Barbara the Builders, because they are the most at risk women to join in the cult, women who have low self-esteem. And to be honest, most of us were pick-me's and Barbara the Builders when we first started coming into these church cults. And if you weren't, trust me, when you get in there, they're sure as hell gonna break and beat you down so that you turn into the enabler, you turn into the bitter, hating ass woman. Because what they do is they make the women feel like it's a sin to look beautiful, not even schmegzy. Let's not even say schmegzy. Yeah, let's just the women to just look beautiful and feminine and whatever, because everything's a sin. Anything that's feminine is seen to we're all the responsibility is put on us for the male gaze. So if a man grapes a woman, it's our fault. If a man essays a woman, it's our fault. If a man PDFs a young girl in the church cult, it's our fault. If a leader starts sleeping with the 15-year-old choir star, it's our fault. It's always the woman's fault. And, you know, that's why they have those structures and those processes in place. Do you get what I'm saying? To like hide abuse. Miss CHM in the car. When I see you on girl, I know all is right in the world. When I see Miss CHM, I know the collective's all right. You get me? And my love, I will be messaging you as soon as I get a number. The only reason I haven't hit up people like you had my number and stuff, is because I haven't had a number, babe. I can't hit up people when there's no number to give. You know them ones. And I'll explain all, guys, but I have literally had to be like offline. And when the time is right, I'll explain all. And guys, let me tell you, yeah, the tea that has been teaing in my life is crazy. And when the time is right, no, babe, Miss CHM, haven't you seen my content? Well, everyone's been busy in it. Everyone's had crazy ish going on in their life. I'm just going to summarize it. I can't say too much, but what I will tell you is, for the sake of my children, I've had to come offline, and I've had to focus on my private family life. And for that reason, I've got a personal project, and I'm not engaging in any like phone calls or anything outside of TikTok whilst I'm dealing with this. Another thing I want to say with my phone number as well is, it was a situation where it's like I had a phone 1 second and then I didn't another second. Yeah. So it was like mitigating circumstances. I couldn't get back in the phone to message survivors or the group and say, this is what's happened, blah, 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 blah. And then I had to process everything that was happening as well, and how EVIL, like, people can actually be in this world. Because remember, I didn't think the DEVIL was real. But after this most recent situation, I've seen that the devil is like, it dwells and lives in people. I believe it's actually narcissism. That's what I think. I think it's narcissism. And that's why, oh, hi, babe. Hi, ungovernable. You're right, darling. And that's why, yeah, I hope you're good as well, my love. I feel so ill today, but I'm pushing through. That's why I think when girls are just like, or people are just throwing around like this narc title, you can't do that, because narcissism is like a real personality disorder that has no cure. And, you know, it takes like professionals, clinical professionals that have practiced for years and years and years to diagnose these guys. So it's almost like whenever a guy is like a player, or he sleeps around, or he's DL or whatever, he's a knock. Or when a pick me or a Barbara the Builder decides to get with a guy despite all the red flags because she's desperate and she's in the church cult and wants to have a head and have some babies, she goes ahead despite common sense. And then when the guy starts acting a FOOL, then she's like, oh, she wants to come on the internet and start crying. That's why wives, pick me's, Barbara the Builder, I don't care what the situation is. I don't care. From the moment I'm picking up them, that pick me vibes, I don't feel sorry for them. Because most wives know that their husbands are cheating. Come on, you've been with this guy for how many years? You lot's life is boring. I've been married. It's unalived. They do the same thing every day. Most of the husbands are stay-at-home dads, glorified nannies. Guys, listen, if you're bored on any of the days, actually, do you know what? I would advise all single women that feel depressed, because it's 2026. I don't know why you'd feel depressed about not having a man. It's pretty easy to get one. And I think we've established that by this time. But for the women who just aren't quite there yet, you might be young. Because the only type of grace I have for women, when I see them pregnant, or just in this type of situation, pick me situation, the only ones that I have a bit of grace for are the young ones. When you start to get to like 30 plus, okay, do you know what? Let me be generous, 32, because now modern science has told us that the prefrontal cortex is completed by 32 opposed to 18. So it's not 19 as we once thought, guys. It's not 19 as we once thought. I just need to move a little bit. It's 32. That's not even a little discrepancy. That's a huge one. I don't even know what I was talking about. I've completely disassociated. Sorry, guys. All right. So let's get into what I've been talking about. So I've been talking about the objectification of women. I've done about 2 parts on YouTube. So if you haven't been here and you want to catch up, you can on my YouTube. Same name. To give you a background, I was kind of given, I am given a spiritual and historical autopsy of how institutions have actively suppressed their divine feminine power to maintain patriarchal power over the years. And this is like the main awakening that is happening right now. And then another awakening, I think the main awakening is religion. Yeah. And then I think that women are now coming together and seeing, it's not about race, it's not about class, it's not about culture. It's about just our gender. And actually, like, because you could say, I don't want to get into female, male, is it a social construct, blah, 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 blah. But what I will say is that we're in a time now where the main revelation, I believe, of this mass awakening is that women, it hasn't been slavery, this, that, it's been women. Women are the most oppressed. And then when we bring intersectionality into that, where we bring in all of the sociological, ideological perspectives around the race discourse, to do with women, then we'll bring in intersectionality, yeah, because that is still something that we have to include. Thank you, my love. So women that are BLK are further demonized, have been further ABUSED'd, and have been further discriminated. As I've been getting back in touch with my ancestors and like just getting more in touch with self, I kind of almost I don't know how to explain it, guys. I don't know if it's a flashback. I don't know if it's me like in the past, but it's like it comes as like this montage of a film almost, but it's not me, but it's almost like it's me. I don't friggin' know, but all of a sudden I'm like this slave. Yeah. And I'm like standing there being sold. Yeah. And because I'm a beautiful BLK woman, in the vision that I had, all of the slave masters were like bidding. And all it was about was actual objectification, because all they're going to do is breed me up. But the thing is, and that's where even like colorism comes from, the fact that some women were inside the house and then the other women were picking cotton, yeah. But all of the women were getting ABUSED in different ways. The ones that were deemed more beautiful or more whatever were getting actually objectified and ABUSED'd. And the women who they didn't, and it's not to say those women are not beautiful, because all women are, but the ones that the slave masters didn't find attractive, they would be in the cotton fields. Yeah. So then there's that resentment. But why was I saying all of this? I was getting to a point. And I started thinking about that and reflecting on that. And I haven't had them kind of thought processes ever. So then I started feeling like maybe it's because I'm healing. I'm going through that healing journey and I'm becoming like back in touch with like self. And so maybe like my body, or I don't know, is remembering, or my internal whatever is remembering. Like, because epigenetically, it could be an ancestor. And that's in my epigenetics. Do you understand what I'm saying? And as I'm becoming more in touch with self and my ancestors, it's remembering through the epigenetics. Because remember, that's science. Yeah. So it got me thinking, like, as BLK people, we are carrying so much trauma from slavery. Okay. Now, we had an awakening about reparations and how unfair it was, and the fact that they've demonized our spiritual practices and stuff like that. And that's grown more. But the biggest awakening I think we've had of 2026 is the fact that it wasn't just our gold and our lead and the natural produce that generate and produce wealth, because we are the original alchemists, yeah, turning lead to gold, all right, for our natural resources. That was the cover up. They stole our African cosmology because we didn't need weapons. Thank you, my love. We didn't need weapons because we got spiritual power, so we don't need to use iron. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? We can control people's minds, right? And I do think that some of the most powerful magic comes from our lands, yeah? So that's why I believe that they did what they did, okay? Now, the point that I'm making is that we've always had that revelation that we were done dirty, yeah? And what happened to us during slavery. But I don't think there's been people there, like woke people, who have connected the dots that, okay, they gave us just the Bible to read during slavery, but they said we couldn't read, and like other things. But because we've had the advance of technology, artificial intelligence, we've been able to connect a lot faster, and through apps like TikTok, etc. That has connected us to other creators online who have immense knowledge and power. Because remember, for lack of knowledge, our people perish. That's why we were perishing before. Do you understand what I'm saying? But now we have access to an array of information. It's just making RELIGION look like human fecal matter and the social man-made construct that it is. Okay. So now in 2026, we're starting to piece all of this together. And I think for me, and I think for the BLK, the collective conscious stream of the BLK community have felt it. I think we felt it. And that's why, I'm not going to lie, when a BLK man or woman that has a deep connection with God, like there's depth, and they get done dirty by these church cults, they are very vocal. They're out here and they are tearing it. They don't care. They don't care if they bun it all down, and they bun themselves down with it. You know them ones. Thank you, Marta Lucas. You know them ones. We don't care because it's personal. And that's why for me, when I came out, I wasn't like the people of past that had come out and spoken about this, because guess what? You can't buy me with money. I don't want your devil's juice. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, my God has given me the nature. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when I first came out, yeah, because you got to remember, I was in a cult for 18 years, right? Devout, fundamental Christian, like very religious. And then I came out and I was just nothing, just spiritual to say whatever. They tried to demonize me and say, oh, she's wearing crystals, she's got on the evil eye. But you don't need to worry about me, babe. Who you need to worry about is your pastors with their Rolexes and their first ladies wearing Cartiers. That's what you need to worry about. and their £100,000 cars and their houses that they've bought outright. That's what you need to be worrying about, not my £1 crystal bracelet, because I haven't gone to go and teeth from no one. I haven't gone to go and take that single disabled mother with 3 kids because her ex-husband was abusive and left her for a younger woman. I don't go and take her benefits, babe, to go and top up petrol in my supercar and go and buy my Rolly and go to Selfridges and Harrods. I don't do that. I go with my humble self on Amazon, and I get my little quartz crystal bracelet and I put it in my checkout. I'm not trying to live above my means to the point where I need to start teething and lying to people and robbing from God just to make ends meet because I've got an addiction to making money. And I need you to understand, once you start like becoming behind the scenes, yeah, and you start to look at the numbers that these places bring in, yeah, that's when you realize all it's about is money. You got to realize, guys, that these so-called mogs and pastors or whatever, they get addicted to money. And it's no different from dealing. The adrenaline of thinking about, oh, like how much can I make today? And then the next day you want to make more and make more and more. And it's the adrenaline. That's why some guys, they know they have to stop. They know they have to stop. Like, do you know what I mean? They're facing big time. They're doing it, but it's not only the money, it's the adrenaline, it's the chase. That's why any gal that says that a man doesn't like a chase, you're an idiot. That's what you are. And you'll always be a lave and a doormat for a man. Because having that mindset, that's a lave mindset. That's the mindset that the colonizer put in our ancestors, okay? And I'm not here to divide and whatever, because every race has been through slavery, and it wasn't just BLK people. It was the way that they did it. It was just the horrific that how heinous it was. It was just, I think, compared to but slavery in those days, it was like that, but it was just a mass genocide. I just don't like talking about it, to be honest. I don't even know what that is. PhD, that we got the PhD here, jail. It's different. Chattel slavery is different. Woo. Okay, because I know that the Arabs sold BLK people into slavery, and my understanding is that it was just the darker people that they did that to, because even now, Moroccans, Arabs, whatever, there's just such a there's such a lack of understanding that they are actually in Africa, number one. And then number two, it doesn't mean that because your skin's lighter that you're any better, or you're an Arab and this and that. The Arab slave trade was more brutal. Okay, so we've got a lot of different examples of it happening, yeah? We can all agree on that. But I think as a BLK people, we kind of had to deal with the fact that this is the history and they've lied to us about our history. But now we've got like this extra layer of the religion, and particularly the largest one in the world. Yeah, they invaded the land and they took our African cosmology. Like, this is what I need people to understand, because there's been a real focus on the physical material, like the tangible stuff that was taken, but there hasn't been a real focus on the cosmology. And then we see that seep into other things, okay? And that is really, because a lot of people, I mean, I've questioned, like, whenever I started getting introduced to slave history, and it hasn't even been taught right. It creates a very biased, narrow-minded, slim, uneducated, unethical, indoctrinated worldview, because we had a lot of people who rose up to, you know, lead what was it when they freed the slavery and all of that, and we had a lot of different pioneering things going on, even down to our culture. A lot of the culture, even the music, soul music, blue music, do you know what I mean? Hairstyles, textiles, there's so much that was the formation, the seed was slavery, yeah. And our resilience as a people, that even when all of that was going on, we still rose up, we still found a beauty in that community, camaraderie, our food. Like, I hate the American food, but they love it. You know, all of that food that they have, like their soul food, as a result of slavery and the leftovers that they had to use to make something out of nothing. Yeah, and the fact that we had to use the off meat, so we cook meat for a lot. That's why our meat is more cooked, but it tastes better. They took our culture, values, and identity. And don't forget our cosmology, our African cosmology. We really have to remember that, because that was the power. They came and saw the power. Do you understand? They came and saw people moving ish with their eyes, babe. They came and saw, do you understand? They came and saw things that they came and was, people were nearly unaliving, and they came and drank the drink. Remember, it wasn't like how medication was now. Plants, they grow in certain countries and whatever, yeah? So there were certain healing properties, and so, the land was very rich, and it was the African cosmology that cultivated the land. Who do you think was the original? That's cosmology. Photosynthesis, understanding how plants need a certain amount of sunlight, rain. It's not easy to grow crop and harvest it in. Do you understand? Are you not? Is it clicking? Yes, our herbs. Is it clicking? Is it making sense? Even the tastiness, the food. Do you understand? Even reproduction effort, because we came and taught people how to wash themselves. The gal them weren't washing their nannies. The soldiers weren't wanting to do up stuff, the husbands and that. We came and taught people how to bathe. Do you understand? And now, oh my God, and now African cosmology is demonic. Oh, Taurus, don't. It's so, you've hit the nail on the head. But I kind of feel like because it was taken away from us, it was stolen from us, you can see that poverty in our people even to now. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's not a curse. It's just because, again, the leaders have been greedy. They operate in the same way that the colonizers do. They take the truth for themselves. You know, it's very corrupt. But because the main way that people see is through the 3D, the third dimension, that's the reality that we can see, feel, touch, whatever. That's the lowest level that you could get. Not many people see into the other realms. So they just see the physical, the tangible stuff that was taken. Even like the men having schmegs with the women. Do you understand what I'm saying? There was a lot of like, you know, like our energy was getting siphoned. Our energy was getting siphoned at the time as well. There's that element of it, okay? And then there's also the breeding farms that they had. And the fact that even when these whitey women would have kids, they would still get the woman to breastfeed the child. Now, I know these are uncomfortable conversations. You know, guys, I'm just speaking the truth. This is history. This has been, you know, documented in history. This is just facts, okay? And these are all things, wet nurses, thank you. Ooh, PhD knows that stuff. So this is all trauma, man. That's getting stored in our womb. And then don't let me get started on the ABUSA, the ABUSE that BLK women accept. I'm sorry, it's different. It's different. It's different. The type of listen, I'm not even going to say, because all of the survivors that are, or even the women that are like mums, like, you know, the baby boomers and the women in their 50s, 60s, if they're still here with us, that are still here, they're just severely indoctrinated, yeah? But the reason why so many of our BLK women, they unalive young, they're aging like that, where the face is not even looking, it's not, the skin is not cracking, but it's just so much stress and trauma on the woman. Because of I think it's because of the ABUSE that we have experienced from men over time. And that just sits in our, I don't know, PhD, maybe you can help me, but it sits somewhere, you know. I'm thinking spiritually, would it be the womb? I think it would be the womb, wouldn't it? It would be the womb. And that's why when I talk about things like chakra, you got the religious people coming in, yeah, nervous system will work as well. You got the religious people coming in, oh, evil. But you're so DUMB, because it says that all of the trauma is kept here in the abdominals, like hair, your sacral. And that's where we get the most issues. Whenever we feel stressed, we feel sick, we feel the first place that you feel it is that stomach ache, that lower pain. Yeah. Yep. Hips, all of that. And you can get, and when you get into the chakras, that's how I've healed as well, through the chakras. In the beginning, I did a lot of chakra work. I did a lot of like release, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And guys, to be honest, I didn't even know if it worked, because as I said, I still am afraid and scared. Being in a cult for 18 years, that will make that will literally make you scared upon your backside. Yeah. I don't want to listen. Because even when I'm listening to someone, as I'm listening to them, in my mind, I'm thinking, what's their objective? Are they doing this? It's like the pattern recognition is too much. It's too much. That's why I can't date. I can practically read a person's mind. Let me just quickly give you lot a bit of, like, from my old school days. There was this guy I was dating, yeah, and he was a bit of, he was hot property in it, and he was quite young, like in his early 40s. Let me get straight to the point. So this guy had gal, whatever. It was not a that. I didn't want to date this guy because he's too much of a player. I just said to him, let's do our thing, let's vibe, innit? So anyway, this guy started lying to me about where he was going, and gal, when they start rocking with you, and they start thinking, oh, maybe I could get this girl to be like one of my dumb 304s. I want her to be wifey. Oh, babe, you can't put this exotic, rare bird in a cage. Everybody wants to see me fly, darling. And he just started like, and the thing is, because I'm gifted, I can tell if you're not telling the truth. It's like I can read your mind. I'm gonna X-ray your soul, baby boy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the lies, and then it just started getting toxic. So I just had to lock it off. Do you know what I mean? But it's like that. It's that pattern recognition that you get, and I don't even know, guys. What was I saying? Oh God, yeah, borderline things. And actually, like I've got BPD, you have as well, babe, and that's why. I'm not saying like we can't be in relationships because we can, but the guy has got to be emotionally stable. His nervous system, he's got to be regulated. He's got to have dealt with his healing. Yeah. So for me, I know the kind of guys I'm attracted to. So for the sake of my mental health, I'm celibate for the rest of my life. And I know people think I'm talking rubbish. We're just gonna have to wait and see, innit? But it's not the way I'm made up, because I've come to know myself. This is why knowing yourself is so important. My spiritual anatomy and biology is not conducive. It's not conducive for a relationship, unfortunately. It's just not. And so therefore, yeah, I'm not gonna be in a relationship. I've done it before. It's a MESS. It's a JOKE. Marriage is human fecal matter. I've done it. It was a train wreck. It's just a way for opportunists, finesses, men who don't want to work, who want to sponge off a hard-working woman. And most of the men who marry women who don't have money, if a man is not wealthy when he marries you, he's a finesser and an opportunist, all right? And he's looking to ride off of the back of you. Listen to me well, ladies. There is no bachelor. There is no rich. There is no wealthy, single, handsome bachelor that's going to say, oh, let him rich now. It looks so good. Let me go and find a wife. He's going to go and buy his yard, and he's going to exploit, and he's going to run a train on women. Yeah? All right? Have we got it? Okay. The only time you get a desperate man wanting to get married is when he's broke. And that's why, if you look on my story, there's a girl, like, she's talking about marriages for BROKE people, especially men who like to remarry, like they like to get married over and over again, especially men who like to have kids with different gyaldem all over the place. Listen, when you see a man who's with a woman who's been ran through, she's got a bag of kids, everything, and he's with just to sit up on the sofa, put his feet up so he doesn't have to work a day in his life. That's why, when we get 90-day fiance and all that, and you see like them young uncles that are in their 30s and they're marrying them 50-year-old women. Yeah? Like the women from the UK, like Sally, that go to Barcelona and Benidorm. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are the women that they're marrying. It's so obvious when you look at them that they're coming to the country. They've married them to come to the country. This is how we need to start looking at these religious man them. And you know what? Gal them, because your pastors, all they want is money from you. Don't worry, your girl's got you, the DEVIL. Let me give you a bit of advice. Don't marry the man them that come in the church cult and they ain't got nothing. Yeah. And within 6 months to a year, they want to get married and they want a wife. They're an opportunist and a finesser. But because you lot aren't in the club, or you were in the club, and then they've brainwashed you and made you forget about the game and the scene and how guys really get down inside in the cup. So now you're naive and you've turned into an idiot and you're there with your head in the clouds. You can't think for yourself anymore. So that what you fail to realize is that same guy who's coming and wants to now look for a wife, being in the church for only 6 months or a year, he's the same brother that you go and find in Hyatt. Yeah, and all the rest of the clubs. And not the ones in the West End, the cheap ones in East London, you know them ones. Take me through there, take me through there. Yeah. Okay. Them uncles, they're the same ones that you see behind the pulpit are the same ones in LA Lounge, looking to pick up the young gal them that's just turned 19. They're just legal to go to the club. Hey, Melisha. Listen, I've done some things that I'm not proud of, okay, in my life, like everybody. And when I first left the cult, I'm not going to lie, I was broken. I was hurt. I didn't know. I was running from myself. I didn't want to face myself. I was in the club. I was outside, but I weren't a HOE. Because I've been raised by an empress. And anyway, I think I'm too nice. But anyway, my point being is that I was outside, innit? And I swear to God, guys, to this day, all of the things I've been through, that I went through after, I had to go through it. Because when I was in the cult, I was mollycoddled. And then I got recruited at 18, turning 19. I was a baby. I was a child. I hadn't been in the world for ages. I was naive. And it was like a lamb being amongst a pack of wolves. And then I came out like thinking my life is over. You know, I'm old now. I'm washed up. Because in the church cult, they make you believe that 25 is old. Yeah, because they want to rinse you out. They want to rinse you dry. They like to recruit young, like 11, 10. So you've got young people in there. By the time they're 22, they're married with 2 kids and a house that they've rented. Yeah. This is too much. I've lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I don't know. I don't know the point I was getting to. But it's just the MESS, guys. It's just the MESS. Religion will strip you of all of... I was talking about the uncles. And the pastors. And I hadn't really experienced like 419ers. Thank you, PhD. So I hadn't experienced fraud boys. They were too clean for me. They were too loud. Because remember, I'm a millennial baby. So the peak of it, my era was 2000s. And they were loud as hell. And I didn't like them. I like my thugs. I like the guys who you didn't know had money. I don't know, guys. Why am I trying to sell you a lot of story? I like the guys where like nobody can touch me. I got a mouth on me. And man, them used to want to just... I've been knocked about a bit. Do you know what I mean? Because my mouth. So I always had to go out with the baddest. You know, so I could just talk to anyone how I want to talk, no matter where I was, anywhere in the country. So anyway, why am I telling you this? Yeah. So that was my experience. No, what was the point I was getting to? Oh, you lot, man. I'm all over the place. All right. Yeah. Those were the ones that I liked. So I never went for the 419ers. So I had no experience of fraud, guys. So when I went in the clubs and that, the clubs I was going to and that, it was just the 419ers, because you don't really get like dealers in the clubs, do you? They ain't got no time to be in the clubs. Hi, Miss K. So that's why when you got a dealer, he doesn't like to, be out there and all he cares about is making money. That's the best. Yeah. Oh, Miss K, look at you. Whenever I'm telling my young stories, that's when this one comes, because she's the twin, the younger me. She's doing up what I was doing. She's living her life now. So yeah, I didn't deal with the fraud, guys. So when I started, guys, I'm not even gonna lie, yeah, I was thinking I was old, because the cult tell you that you're old when you're 25. So I come out and I must have been about 31, 32. I was overweight, looking a mess, dressing like a Mormon. So the weight fell off me quick. And then I looked at, I didn't even look good. I was looking a mess with the fashion. But I went and the man them were loving it. Back like I never left. I'm not even going to lie. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. Because you got to remember, guys, I was in this cult singing, hallelujah, like in this marriage for 10 years. And I weren't even getting my back blown out. I was like a nun. And then I come into the club, and it's like, as soon as I come into the club, do you know what I think it is? I think that it's not just a physical attraction. With these guys, I very much do think that it's spiritual as well, because these guys were trying to siphon my energy and my light. Like now I know, innit? But back then I was just a baby. I didn't know nothing about nothing. So why am I getting onto this point? All right. So I started dealing with these guys that were very wealthy, 419ers, etc. Okay, like in the Nigerian scene. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it. But long story short, what I found was, because, listen, dealers who are just on the roads, they're different to 419ers, because the 419ers actually have jobs. These guys, they're financiers, they're lawyers, they're 419ers. They are across the spectrum. They can have really, really good jobs, and they're just greedy. Yeah. So I was going out with, like, like professionals, but guys who were like doing the 419 on the side as well. And because my type was uncles, I was getting a lot of these guys who were going to church. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we could have had the wildest time. Like, we could have been in, what's that club? I've forgotten it. The one in, where the money falls from the sky. Is it Rain? That expensive club where the tables are like 10, 20 grand, yeah? We would have like crazy nights, like crazy weekends, and there would be this guy that I'm talking to, guys, no word of a lie to you, every single Sunday. It doesn't matter where we are. It doesn't matter what we've done the night before. We could have got back at 5 a.m. My man's going home. He's going in his shower and he's getting ready. He's going to church. So I started to clock, because obviously I hadn't been on that side of things. I'd been in the church. So I'm just seeing these guys as holier than thou when they come, because when you're in there, they make you DUMB. So the women are naive. They don't know that preds, vultures, parasites, like these essayers, like man them on Clare's law, yeah, are leaders in these spaces. It's not a real place, yeah. So when I started getting experience with these guys, I started to realize, I know God put me through that situation. One, because it was like being with the pastors, because I didn't deal with the pastors in there, innit? Jay, hi, my babes. I hadn't dealt with the pastors in there. So it's like God had to make me deal with these 419ers so I could understand what these women went through. Is what I'm saying making sense, guys? Because remember, I didn't get essayed in there. I did not get raped. I never slept with one guy in the whole of UD, in the whole of the United Denominations worldwide. My church cult has over 3,500 churches worldwide, and I did not sleep with one man in the whole church. Take me through there. The same reputation that your girl has outside in these MF streets is the same reputation that your girl's got inside the church. Period. Because your girl's always thought she's too nice. Not anybody can touch this, and you have to be rich. I can't do, bro. It doesn't arouse me. That's why I wasn't doing it much, like in a certain past relationship that I had. The actual relationship was dry. It was as dry as a BLK 5-year-old whose mum doesn't cream her to go to school, because it has to be really dry, guys. I've got to give you, like when the mum gets vexed and says, why didn't you cream your legs? Why are your legs white? Yeah. And that's why most of these people in the marriages, you know what happens? They fool you into marrying. They indoctrinate the women. They basically tell them that they're worthless. Their value is in becoming Mrs. Whoever. They break them down. And then there's a lot of 304s that you get in these settings, because the final form of a 304 is a religious woman. So we get loads of them in there. That's why there's certain aunties, you look at them and you can just feel the EVIL hewing from them, pulsating from them from across the street. Those are the type of women that I'm talking about, okay? Retired 304s that have had all of the karma and some, because of the EVIL they've done over the years, yeah? And now they've finally parked in these spaces so that they can be EVIL to everybody else, because they get to project, proper Miss My Femme Kids. Because remember, in these spaces, they ain't got no spiritual hygiene. They're just teeth in the money. There's no DBS checks. There's nothing. Do you know why they're getting this karma? Because they've been pointing the fingers at the world and saying women are witches, women of the world are Jezebels, they're this or that, when they're all in the church. That's the issue. So now it's fully cured. You've got people like Alex Tarot and Curious Magpie that have apparently converted and they're back in the church. They've got a whole heap of warlocks, witches. There's an infiltration. It's become so dark in there that people that even love God, people that are really tethered tethered to God, not performative, not the Breenie Lees and the Sasha Elises of these worlds. I'm talking about the people who really get down in faith in the world. These are the people who are not going to be able to stay in these environments. So as the time goes on, it gets darker and darker. Similarly, institutions like social services, the reason it's become darker and darker, more EVIL, is because we've got a lack of uneducated, underqualified social workers. All the good ones like myself left long time. Juju mental in the cut. Yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same. So basically what they do when you come in the church, yeah, is they'll be telling you basically you're lucky to want to marry a man. They demonize the worldly men. They say that the worldly men are no good. The worldly men will never love you. The worldly men will never marry you. They just use women. These times, okay, so who's better off? The woman who's married in a council property, her husband, her young husband, can't hold down the job because he hasn't got much qualifications and he's got a plethora of trauma. Or the people that aren't married, so-called married, but he's a provider. That man's a provider. She's had 2 kids with him. The girl doesn't pay any bills. She's a stay-at-home wife. She's a this. What makes the Christian couple better? Because they're married. Because they're married, even though they're living in poverty. And isn't there a proverb or a scripture that says that a man that cannot provide for his house is worse than an infidel? Yeah? So hold on. The man that's not married, that's provided for his wife, and his children are not going without eating food, they're not going without new shoes, all of the things that they need, is actually better off according to the word. Do you see how foolish we've become, guys, because of these narcissistic, money-grabbing, eating, fake leaders? The time is coming when the real ones will worship in their houses. That's already started coming, babe. That's already started. The realest ones are in their yards. We know the times. God is speaking to us, bruv. God's real children, we know what the times are. That's why the way they're out and doing all of this, and that's what I'm saying, they're in danger. They're in danger. And that's why I'm saying to people, and I think what I'm going to do, once I've got this part free, because guys, I'm going to go offline, then I need to get some, remember I was telling you I got some work to do, I got some more work to do, and then if I feel strong enough, because I've slept since I've come back, then I'll come back on in the evening. Yeah, what was I saying? All right, let me just start off from the marriage thing, because I'm going to do a series, Shema in the cut, just speaking to single mothers. Guys, I need to get these likes up. Come on, you lot. Just speaking to single mothers and basically telling them why they're a risk, love bombing, the things that they do, how they'll use you, how they manipulate and exploit single mothers, etc. And the thing is, the single mothers are usually the ones that the pastor will start to sleep with, or the leaders or whatever. They take the most advantage out of them, yeah? So how it works with the marriage is you'll come into the church and basically just for having male anatomy, you're immediately above a woman, and you're immediately a leader, and you're immediately the chosen head of the home, just because of your anatomy. Yeah, it doesn't matter what knowledge you've got, whatever. Yeah, just because of your balls. And that in itself is wisdom, ladies. That in itself. So that's how we know when a female comes on the internet and she tells us that she believes in women's rights, and she believes in feminist rhetoric, and she also goes to church. We definitely believe that she is sane, don't we, ladies? We can definitely take advice from them. And that's why we've got a generation of young people that are messed up, because there's no real people. Like all of the matriarchs, like the women in the hood that used to talk, we don't have that culture anymore. And our hoods are becoming so infiltrated by these EVIL money grabbing, money making schemes in the guise of churches. Yeah. So when you come in, they basically make a woman feel like she's worthless if she's not married. In the church cult, you got to remember, it's a system within a system, and it's like a world within a world. So they've got their own laws. So for example, it's like, as a woman, you don't have a passport. You don't have like a church passport unless you've got a husband, because you can't travel abroad to do missionary unless you're married to do missions. However, the men can travel abroad and do missions and impregnate. I know a pastor that's impregnated about 5 to 10 women in the South Americas. This is more than like, maybe we're going back 12, 15 years ago. There are women still looking for their baby daddy to this day. And he's in Dagwood Mills Cult in London. You know them ones. So the men that are sent out they're not, they got no, like, they don't know how to manage their body. They got no self-control. They're out there sleeping with the vulnerable women. What do you, how, if you've got a vulnerable, beautiful woman who's living in the favelas, her yard don't even have windows, bruv. She's desperate. They don't have the systems that they have here, like in the UK. And you've got this pastor with a British accent saying to you that he can offer you the world. He wants to make you his wife. He wants to bring you to the UK. What woman's not going to sleep with him? What woman's not going to think, come on, guys? Come on, guys. And that's why the women that make excuses and the people that make excuses for these type of mogs and these type of leaders, they're just EVIL, guys. Just like Shay Forever, the woman who does the cooking thing, she's always been EVIL. Where did the woman get that kind of dark comedy to be talking about taking off people's arms and frying them and the judge must eat it? And it's when you take out the comedy and you sit there and you listen to the nature and the content of what she's making, is such a dark mind. Ruth, they don't allow you to marry who you like. Stopping marriage, false doctrine, or cult. Yeah. They want to be, it's predatory facts. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, guys. They want to be in control of the marriage. That's the most part of it, okay? And even when I've seen when pastors have wanted two people to get together, and they have prolonged it and made them work more, give more, do more in the ministry, and then compared him to, oh God, I should know because my name's Leah. Is it, I want to say Jacob? Was it Jacob that got married to Leah and then he had to work extra for Rachel, right? So they'll use scriptures like that to like manipulate people, okay? So they can have two people that they want to get together, but just to manipulate them and squeeze extra out of them, they will make them do more to marry the person. Another thing as well is they decide who marries who. So you can't authentically fall in love with someone. So Ruth, you might like Tommy, yeah? But Pastor Quishy Melon has already said that Tommy's for Lizzie. So you and Tommy have been sleeping together. You've already had a termination for him, or two, or 3, or 5, or 6. Because there was a real girl in real life in my branch who had 6 terminations for a guy who made all of the excuses under the sun as to why she couldn't keep the baby, why he couldn't marry her. And when he used and abused her and discarded her and moved on to the next, he married the girl within less than 6 months. That's why, ladies, don't be a FOOL, especially if you're over 30 and you're with a man and you've been with him for over a year and you're still sitting there believing that he's going to make you a wife. Just grow up. All right, sweetie pie? Because I was engaged within 3 months and I was married and pregnant in under a year, sweetie pie. So when a man knows what he wants, he knows how to get it. So if a man ain't marrying you, when he gets to all of the people who marry, they marry quick. Unless it's the finesser and the opportunist who knows he doesn't have to marry you, babes, because you have low self-worth and you don't think that you're pretty. And you don't think that you've got anything going for yourself, and you're insecure and you've got low self-esteem. So he knows he can string you along. He knows that he can move into your house, get you to make commitments, get you to be, because you're the doormat, he can move into your yard and not have to pay any bills and eat yam and food. Do you know how expensive it is? I don't care. I swear to God, if I was still seeing my ninjas, like if I was still doing what I was doing, like how I was doing it before, bitch, you're getting charged to just come to the yard. Are you all right? Oh, you better believe it. You better believe it. Electricity and gas is not cheap. Electricity and gas is not cheap. Do you understand what I'm saying? You already had to come to see me with a gift every time. And you know, I like the Nigerian uncles. They're so sweet. Like, you know, I used to have my favorite. He used to do me like hampers. He was so cute. He used to go to the supermarket and he used to get me like, you know, crates of drink. Because, you know, they're just over the top. Do you know what I mean? They don't know how to just go into like a supermarket. And, you know, they're rich. They like spending money. So they won't just get you like one bottle. They'll get you like the whole of the shelf in the supermarket. And then I used to get just like loads of treats, just loads of goodies. And I used to love it. I digress. Sorry, guys. What the hell was I talking about? Hi, Vanta. No, all right. No, let's get into it seriously. So they do stop you from marrying who you want to marry. In my cult, we had shepherdoral linking, and that is arranged marriages, just on period, point blank, okay? And they would tell you who you're going to marry. And all the prettiest girls, the pastor, if you notice, the pastors like the mogs or whatever, yeah, they have like, it's like all of the pretty women in the church cult are always following the pastor, always around him. He always has a flock of women like following him and around him. And that's mainly what the pastor's role is. The pretty girls, but not just the pretty girls, the pretty committed. Because once you're a daughter of the house, they start to treat you like they're your property, like their ownership, like a strict dad, like an African uncle dad, yeah? And you become ownership. Because remember, uncles, those dads are like, they see children as extensions of themselves and ownership because of the culture, right? So basically, I was one of the pastor's girls, spiritual daughters, and he would like shout at me, like he'd tell me like, don't speak to that boy. Like, for example, there could be a guy who's known notoriously for like sleeping around. He'd be like, and he'd look at me and he'd say, he used to give me this look like, Leah, what are you doing over there? And then yeah, they just kind of police you and tell you what you could do and what you couldn't do. And they would give you a curfew and they would tell you that you got to be home by 10. And if we had conventions, my pastor would be like, I don't want you guys going or walking around and ending up, before you know, you end up in each other's house and you end up sleeping with each other. And then you'll be in my office the next morning. So everything was really policed. And I'd have to like text my pastor when I get home. And I'd tell him like I've dropped off the young people. I didn't realize that this was like surveillance and control. It felt like a relationship. And if I'm honest with you, I do think that my pastor genuinely loved me. I do think that, you know, I don't think that he was doing it, you know, because he was consciously, oh, I don't know, maybe he was, guys. I've got Stockholm syndrome. I still love my pastor. Do you know what I mean? I don't even think it's Stockholm syndrome because I love Reverend Edmund. Do you know what I mean? Like, he never did nothing bad to me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's why I stayed so long. And that's why I didn't know it was a cult. Yeah. I still love Reverend Edmund. He didn't do anything bad to me, but I had to get him out. And I don't think he's still going. So I did achieve it. And that's why I exposed him and I exposed his wife. But trust me, I didn't say what they really told me. Because if I said in public what I really knew, they wouldn't be able to show their face again. So I did that to protect them, but I told them, I said just enough because I wanted to get them out. But I don't know if they're still going, but their membership has gone down a lot. So once you're a spiritual daughter of the house, you're like a step closer to becoming a wife, because there's like invisible, unspoken laws and rules. And as you start getting into these church cults more, you start to learn those unspoken rules. So it becomes clear that the people that are closer to the pastor, they get the good husbands. And then you quickly find that the system is such that the pastor has to recommend you. Even if a guy finds you attractive and he comes to you and he would never ask for your hand in marriage. There's a process. If a brother likes you, he has to go to your pastor and he has to just show like an interest. And then the pastor will call his branch pastor, and they will start to discuss you to see if you'll be a good match. And then if the pastors agree, then they'll call a meeting with both of you. So this is even, the guy hasn't even told me that he likes me yet. He's gone straight to my pastor before he's even gone to me. So do you see how that causes problems? Because there's been a lot of butters, BROKE guys that have gone to the pastor like, I want to marry so-and-so, and they tick all the right boxes, and they're actually like a stand-up guy. Like, do you know what I mean? He's like a bachelor, but he's butters. So the girl don't want to marry him, but now she's getting forced to marry him. Do you see what I'm saying? So what part was I up to? Oh, yeah. So then they start like selling the marriage to you now, yeah? Like basically, as I said to you, it's your spiritual passport. You can't do nothing. You can't go nowhere without a husband, yeah? And also they glorify the women that are misses. So like they make it out like you're a second-class citizen. No. You're a second-class citizen if you're a woman. They make it out like you're lesser than, or you're not whole, or there's something wrong with you if you're not married, especially if you're 25 and above. So basically, that's a type of reverse psychology because they want the women to marry young, DUMB, and naive. Their prefrontal cortex hasn't even started to even begin to finish forming yet. But that's the reason why they do it. That's why you only see young people getting married in there. When you're seeing people 30 plus in these environments and they're getting married, they need to be sectioned. Thank you for the follow, Annie, because that's how serious and that's how entrenched the mental health is. So then we need to bring in psychiatrists and registered nurses and mental health specialists. Yeah. Oh, you're from Dublin. Oh my God, I love the Dublin. Yes, I love a Dublin. Oh my God, I love Irish coffee. I'm actually 17% Irish, my love. All right, because I did my DNA. So you're very welcome. No BLKs, no Irish, and no dogs. I love y'all. All right. And I love a good old spud. I love spuds. So I love you. Thank you, Annie. You're definitely in the right place, my love. So what they will do to the women is, and they put you into brackets. So when you first come into the cult, they'll be asking you all types of questions, like how many people have you slept with, like your body count, like your past relationships, like your dad, your mum, who's been around. So they vet you. And so they put like all the clean girls in one category and all the girls that have slept with guys. And then they start to like tick you, like mark you invisibly. So if you're a girl you got a high body count, but you come in the church cult, even if you make a few mistakes, like sleep with a couple of guys, the pastor sees you as a 304 anyway. So you just go in, you apologize. As long as you're doing everything the pastor says and you don't leave the church, that's the most important thing. You don't leave the church, because when you leave the cult, you get like you're tarnished and you get like a black dot on you. You're in the black book now, and so they can't trust you. They teach you as an outsider. So even if you're a pred and you're a guy and you're sleeping with all the gal in the church, they'll trust that guy more than me, who's never slept with anyone, stuck by the book, but just had one slip up, backslid for 6 months and come back. That's how foolish they are in there. Your lies make me realize it's all the same, different cult, same experience. Yeah, that's all it is, babe. And you know what? We could go as far as to say high control groups come in all shapes and sizes, babe. There's family cults, there's family high control groups. There's way more high control families than there are church cults, and that transcends religion, time, whatever. All of them honor-based, unalivings and all that. That's just a high control family group. That's all that is. That leads to unalivement, because when we look at the power and control wheel, we can see that. Do you know what I mean? It's like those unalivings of passion. And also we see that the dads are usually, when we look at the Freudian ideological perspectives, the dads are usually attracted to their daughters in a very like sick kind of skewed way, because those men are preds. A lot of them are PDFs. A lot of them are out there just looking at gal them from the age of 12. That's produced. Yeah. So it can cause these men to go on and actually unalive their own child. And then the mum's right there cleaning the tools that he used and helping to move around her child's body. And that's how dangerous enablers are. I think there was actually that case of that honor-based unaliving where it was the wife and the husband that did it. Do you understand? So those enablers, those pick-me's, that wife, she's a pick-me and she's an enabler, and she HATEs herself and she lives for a man. So she actually unalived her own daughter. Do you see the depth? And these are the type of gal them that we've got in the church cult. And then when things happen like Victoria Kalimbe and EVILs happening to the point where gal them are leaving those spaces feeling like they want to unalive themselves because of the bullying they've experienced in these spaces. And then we wonder why. Dogmatic cultism is one of the most dangerous mindsets on earth. It's the opposite of freedom. That's Juju's favorite quote, and I love it. How would you say it works if a pastor in Florida likes you? Are you rich? Have you got money? Have you got money? Because, there's like different levels to this. But mind you, a pastor who's just got a church of about 20 people can still be rich. That's still enough for you to like, do you know what I mean? Like pay my bills. I told a UCKG girl about Victoria and she didn't care. Yeah, they're so brainwashed in there. UCKG are this another level. First love. I have a sister in the church that has a pastor as a beloved. Oh no. Oh, okay. I see what he's saying. Oh, not Florida. How would you say it work, guys? Oh my God. Look, oh my God, guys. That's how much I love myself. Oh my God, guys. I love myself so much that I didn't even read that he was saying first love. I thought I love myself so much that I thought he was saying that a pastor in Florida was feeling your girl. Guys, that's how much confidence you have to have, and you'll be fine. You'll get over it. Just have the confidence like me and you'll be fine. You'll get over this in time. All right, listen, you know I'm not gonna lie to you, babe. I'm gonna always keep it straight with you. When they marry a pastor in first love, they have less chance of getting out, babe. I'm so sorry. I've got to keep it real. I don't want to give you false hope. How it works in first love, the hierarchy is that, and in most of these, in Christian ideology, okay, they believe that as you know, that it goes God, then it's supposed to go husband, like a triangle, and then wife there, yeah, and it's supposed to be equal. That's what like a triangle represents, yeah. Unfortunately, in cults, it becomes pastor, fake God, husband with pastor's mindset, because remember he's brainwashed, so he's not going to do what he wants, he's going to be doing what the pastor wants. Okay, so essentially your sister, and I'm sorry if I'm just delivering this in a really blunt way, I'm an Aquarius with a Scorpio stellium, Scorpio rising, sorry, so I find it hard to, I don't have much emotions. So basically how it works with the pastors is they're the most indoctrinated. I don't want to say that pastors don't leave and they don't get out. However, your sister leaving is dependent on whether her husband wakes up and sees the light, because she is most likely even just in the cult, not most likely, she is in that cult because of him, and she's going to stay in that cult longer because of him, and when she has kids for him and stuff like that. Do you see how they trap women? So the main way that they trap women is through marriage. That's how they keep them in the cult. The reason I stayed in the cult, I would have left the cult years ago, but because I had like an ex-husband who didn't need to be brainwashed, because he already came with that mindset, because the family run like that already. Yeah. So when you have like a husband who's got a patriarchal mindset, yeah, then what happens is he becomes your head. And there were times I wanted to leave. I begged my ex-husband. I said, I want to leave. I don't feel like I'm spiritually growing. I feel like I'm spiritually unalived. But it benefited him more than it benefited me. So he would say, no, let's stay. This is a good church. Like, da, 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 da. And that's why I stayed there for 10 years. Just like I was told when I wanted to leave my job, no, stay here. Do you know how many, he said to me, how many youth workers do you know that are getting paid over 30 grand a year? Because I used to work for Connections, personal advisor, and it kept me stagnant. It kept me in like a position because it was just paying the bills, and I was the main breadwinner them days. I was the one who was bringing in the consistent paycheck. So of course I'm going to be told to stay in a job that makes it comfortable for someone else, that they don't have to work. And this is how the women are. The women are exploited. The women will be working, they'll be paying the bills, they'll be managing the house, they'll be looking after the kids whilst the man sits up with his feet up. Perfectly good, strong man that can go out and work, but he's just LAZY. And he's been brought up by a mother with an enmeshment relationship and an enabler. So he's been brought up by a mother who thinks that that's her firstborn is her husband, because her husband's so physically abusive and has spent more time being a HOE and sleeping with different women and impregnating them all over the world. So unfortunately, the first son has become, you know, like the father role, yeah, and like a spouse to the mother. The causes and effects of dogmatic cultism, absolutely. So would you say that they are likely to get married? Have you seen any pastors that have ended their relationship with the person, or do they tend to get married to them once they have them as a beloved? Do you know what? You really care about your sister. So I'm gonna send a few things their way and see if they can manage the terrains and the storms of life, because I like you. I like your spirit. You're a fighter. You don't give up. Listen, I was gonna ask you your sister's name like a D head. What's your sister's name? And the beloved, can I have it, please? I so I can write it down. I'm just gonna remember your name on here. Yeah, I've seen. Listen, I've seen many different scenarios, but I'm not joking. I will. If God hears what I say, I will send a little something their way and see if it works out. So if it doesn't work out, you owe me an offering, okay? Testimony time. If what I'm saying works and the belovedship doesn't work out, then come back to me and testify, okay? No. But on a level, I've seen I've seen relationships that haven't worked. Beloved doesn't necessarily mean that they will marry. However, because I've been speaking out and a lot more people have been leaving, including couples, they're marrying off the members really quickly. Okay. So, basically for them to have got to the beloved stage, they've already jumped through a lot of hoops. They've already got the confirmation, the blessing from their pastors, their parents, whoever their bishop is, their main pastor. They've been through beloved's counseling. So now all that has to happen is the marriage. Yeah. And sometimes they have weddings, but a lot of these young people, they can't afford to put clothes on their back. So a lot of them just get married in the office, the back of the office. The pastors, they don't have no wedding dress, nada. And your sister could get married and then you could find out about, she could call you up and be like, oh, bro, I got married. Don't worry. We plan to do a big wedding in a year. There's been people who have done that. What I'm going to give you advice, okay? Because if she does end up marrying this guy, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean, babe? In these church cults, people are going to get married. Do you understand? Because that's the main way they trap them. That's the main discourse in there. And because they need women to get married, because that's how they control women. Women are very powerful. So to keep a woman subdued, submissive, under lock and key, keep her mouth shut, whatever, keep her controlled, he needs the women to get married. Okay. And also, women, we have power over men. Yeah. And that's where a lot of jealousy comes into it with women as well, because a man has that banana, whether he's a pastor, a monk, whatever. If he sees a beautiful woman, that's going to happen no matter what, no matter how pure he is, no matter how holy he is. He can't stop his body from reacting. That's a physiological response for it. Happens to every man. Okay, just because they're a pastor or a prophet, it doesn't mean they're going to get different feelings. That's why they ask the women not to come in tight dresses, this, that, and the third. So my point is, a beautiful woman has power over men, and that's why those misogynists hate a woman, and they'll go on to great. That's why they have that in them, because a woman wouldn't let them touch them. So they take what they know they can't have, what they would never be able to touch, and they violate and they take it into their own hands. Yeah. And that is why when you see women like escorts, women who are beautiful women like Tyler, Beyonce, she's a witch, she's demonized. You know why them kind of women get demonized the most? Because they're getting paid to be beautiful. I'm sure if those butters pick-me's in there could do it and get paid to just be beautiful, they would. But unfortunately, they haven't been blessed with that. They're unfortunate looking, so they can't. They don't have that. But other women have, and that's their choice if they want to do that. Yeah. And do you see, that's where the HATE comes into it, because a man, he can't control himself. No matter what he does, a beautiful woman will always have power over him. And that's why no matter how many laws that they try to put in, no matter how much they try to subjugate us, break us down, make us feel lesser than, they destroyed all the goddess teaching and worship. They burnt our temples down. They look at all of the oppression. Look at all of the oppression and the trauma and the ABUSE that we've experienced as the collective feminine. Yeah. And that's for a reason. So that's the main reason why they want a head. They want a man to be over the woman, because then she hasn't got a say. When I was married, I couldn't go into the office and be like, oh, I'm doing this. Even when I would make plans, even though they knew my ex-husband, he weren't on it, he would just be, they just saw him as a pushover. Do you know what I mean? Because he weren't getting involved in the ministry. They didn't take him seriously. They kind of saw him as worldly, and would be like, oh, as long as he's got his food and his beer and his football on a sun, do you know what I mean? He'll be all right. And then I used to go in and I used to cry, and I used to say to the pastors, oh, I wish I had someone, who was going after the ministry, because I felt like the burden was on me. I had to carry it a lot, because I had the kids, and then I had to work, and then I had to do this ministry, and I felt like it was weighing me down, bruv. And then they'll be preaching to the women and telling them that they're ungrateful because they've got a husband and they're called Mrs. So even if the man's ABUSE and the woman, let's say a man is a prolific financial abuser, Let's say the woman's been married to this man for 8 years, and during those 8 years, he's done maybe worked in a school, maybe for a summer, and maybe done a few odd job, like, you know, human fecal matter, youth work things, and maybe worked in ASDA a couple of times. Yeah. So the women are so indoctrinated in there that there'll be a man who will be sitting in the house whilst the woman is bearing the children. They'll be sitting in the house, never held down a real job in their life, sitting there sponging off the woman. The woman will be making food. She'll be doing everything for the kids, cleaning the house, everything whilst the man's foot is up. Because even if he's not doing the right thing, he's exploiting and even abusing the woman. The church will be teaching the woman to honor and obey her husband. They'll be teaching the woman to submit to their husband. Do you know what I mean? There's no common sense. So you've got women who are being financially abused, who are given like all of their money. They don't have... If in my cult, the wives were told, in our cult, we did a 6 months marriage counseling, yeah? And in that 6 months marriage counseling, we were told that we were not supposed to have separate bank accounts. We were supposed to have one bank account, and we were supposed to keep like our paycheck as together as one. And the man is supposed to be the head of the paycheck, yeah? So all my finances, including the money that I used to earn, was getting controlled and managed and run by my ex-husband. And that's how, like, if the women are like spiritual daughters of the house, that is how it will be in there. Yeah. But I do want to say, most people didn't stick to the rules. And this is where I bring the finessing and the opportunist into it. If you've got a lazy man who's a finesser and an opportunist, and he does romance fraud, like he rides off the back of a woman every single time, yeah? If you've got a man like that who comes into the system, and part of their rules or their indoctrination or their marriage rules are that the woman and the man have the same account, the same bank account, and they share all their money and it all goes through there. I remember in the same marriage counseling, all the rest of the couples were like, nah. There was one guy who was arguing with the pastor, but he worked properly. Like, his wife was in the ministry like me, and her husband was like my husband, like not really serious, like just kind of just coming up, you know what I mean, doing the bare minimum in the church cult, okay, because there's different levels. And he was like saying he's not sharing no bank account. He was like, she can have her bank account and I'll have mine. Like, we have our separate money, period. But in my relationship, I was doing all of the finances, all my money was getting transferred into that one account, yeah, that was managed by my husband, my ex-husband. And the thing is, what I need you to understand is, if there's girls, yeah, say like the man's never worked a job in his life. Let's say that he's never worked a day in his life, yeah. And you've got a woman like me with all my professional experience. I'm a go-getter. I'm on it. I work. I can get finessed by a man like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because my head's not screwed on. I'm brainwashed. I'm just wanting to do what the pastor's telling me what to do. I just want to be a good spiritual daughter of the house. So do you see how I can be naive or get taken advantage of by a man who's never worked? He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have any savings. So he's not going to mind having a joint account with a woman, is he? Because he hasn't got, and he's not bringing anything to the table. It's going to be the woman's paycheck that's coming in that account every month. And it's the woman's savings that's going to be in that account, not the man. So do you see how women are getting exploited financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Guys, do you know what the husbands are in most of these church cults? They're a glorified houseboy. That's what they are. Because all they do is, listen, ladies, when you see wives, yeah, and they're in supermarkets and they've got loads of shopping and whatever, and you see the husband and he's doing the trolley and the wife just sits in the car whilst he's unpacking everything. I swear to God, some women, I just want to SLAP, you know, because it's like, you'll be sitting there crying, like feeling like, oh, I'm single, I don't have a man. Look at me struggling, especially the single mums. Look at me struggling with all my bags. I just want a strong man. Listen to me. You see the wives, we do absolutely everything. Like the husbands, all they do is that shopping. They don't do washing. They don't do cleaning. They don't make up their bed. They don't take their plate. They don't wash their plate. They do no housework. Do you understand what I'm saying? They do sweet FA love. So that little of taking the bags, he's only taken them because he's bigger than the woman. She does all the heavy lifting. She does, the wife carries the man emotionally, psychologically, everything, Clee. When I was a wife, I was a therapist, I was a nurse, I was a financier, I was a cash point, I was a friggin', did I say therapist? I was a chef, I was a cleaner, I was a nursery worker, I was a mother. Are you all right? And that's why, guys, any woman that's in a relationship, yeah, and she looks completely drained, all unpaid. And PhD, do you know what pees me off the most? There's literally au pairs that get paid more than 2 working families. So you've got two grown-ass adults with 3 kids, and there's a young 21-year-old that's making more money than both of them people because she's an au pair for a rich family in Kensington. Yeah. Do you know how much cleaners get paid? I got a cleaner. They get paid 20 at the lowest, anywhere from 18 to 24 pounds an hour, love. That's how much cleaners get paid. And we're constantly cleaning, constantly picking up in the yard. Do you know how much private chefs get paid? When I got divorced, yeah, and I just started throwing stuff in the oven, do you know what I mean? Because before, I don't want to talk too much, but when I had more space, I was by myself for a bit, and I just used to like just put anything in there, and I was like, oh my God, this is just such a relief. Like, I don't have to cook. They want us to cook gourmet meals, plus go to work full time, plus be a mother and a wife, carry all the emotional burdens. Guys, it's not fun being a wife. They're laves. Yeah, if I'm with someone, I tell them, you're not gonna run me dry. I don't labor for free. Absolutely. That's why, have you seen Cardi B after the triple shift? Absolutely. Triple, quadruple in it, Jay. You're working. That's why the wives look washed up, because they are doing all the work, whilst the man is just sitting down with his legs up. Yes, it's a trap. Yes, the woman is the slave. Guys, they had to legalize slavery in some way and keep the oppression of women, and they've done it through marriage. You absolutely do not need to get married. It's a piece of paper. You don't have to get married. You can go and sign contracts with a lawyer. There's no need for marriage. We just don't need it. It's an archaic institution that was set up to enslave people. It's a social construct, and that is patriarchal. A wedding, marriage, like the woman walking down in a white dress because it signifies purity. It's all human fecal matter, man. Who says that white is pure? Who says that? You can have prenups and create a trust for your kids. That's it. Absolutely. Because I tell you something, ladies, listen to me. I was married for almost 10 years. You don't want to marry a man. Hell to the no. Unless he's got more money than you, then it makes sense marrying him. If he's got more money than you. Yeah. And to be honest, ladies, if you're going to get a rich man, just try and love the hell out of him so you don't get a prenup. Because you really want that financial security and freedom. You really don't want any prenup. You really don't want to feel like... But if you do get a prenup, it's okay. 5-10 years. Coming out with a nice 6 to 7 figure settlement is fine for giving 10 years. But the woman, we are the ones that bring life. We are the portal into this realm. And what's happened is under the patriarchal rule, we've been taught to HATE ourselves. We've just been fooled. We've just been taken for idiot. So we're actually gagging for it. We're actually asking the man them to impregnate us. And there have been women who have just used their body as a breeding farm and just had babies for guys and leveled up, and so that they get money. But I'm not mad at you, because if you're having a baby to secure the bag, I mean, I'm not mad at you. Do you know what? I actually think that that's the only time a woman should have a child, is to secure the bag. Like, if the guy's rich and you want to just secure the bag, like you never want to work again, why would you want to have a baby otherwise? What are you doing it for? The plot? To learn lessons? To learn how you struggle? To be humiliated? To learn to feel... do you want to learn what it feels like to be abandoned and betrayed by the person that you gave your life to, that you thought would be with you till death do us part? If so, then go for it. My advice to all women on the come up is do not do marriage. It's a trap, especially if you're on the same paycheck. If you both like getting 40 grand a year, why are you getting married for? For what? What assets are you splitting? The one house that you mortgaged. Come on. I didn't need to do none of that. I got married at 25. I didn't need to do no assets. Then I don't even need to do that because there are no assets. There's never been any assets. You know them ones. What assets do you have if you get married at 25 and the house was a council house? If your house was a council house, you got married when you were 25, you came with nothing, you didn't have no savings. What assets would you need to? Do you know what I mean? You don't need to do up all of that. All of them in there are young. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the main goal is they want to get you married young. They want to get you and they brainwash you. And if you're a woman, I'm gonna go soon, guys. Oh my god, I've been on here for an hour and a half. Oh my god, it feels like I've just been on here for like 5 minutes. But guys, you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm feeling all right. I've had a sleep, and I'll most likely jump back on. I think I'm gonna go have something to eat because guys, I'm not gonna lie. My mum done some beautiful Chinese food. After you get off this live, go and look at my my posts. My mum's an absolute chef, and that's why I can cook, like, because in my family, yeah, the matriarchs in my family, they all wonderful cooks, like chefs, and it's just a thing that's been passed down in the generations. I swear to God, guys, like my sister, she only started cooking when she moved in with me. Like she was big, like 21, 22, something like that. And as soon as she started cooking, like she was just like Michelin chef. Like she's an artisan baker. My sister can do artisan baking, yeah. And I just cook really, really well as well. Learnt from my mum. And then now, like with my daughters, especially like my eldest one, she's starting to cook little things and I can see like she's just got it. And so, like, why was I saying all of this? What was the reason? What was the reason? What's the point I was getting to? Guys, it's lost me. Oh yeah, I was talking about my food. I'm gonna go and have some food. I've got like something's on my nose, and then I'm gonna come back. But before I go, if you've got any questions, you can ask me now. On YouTube, I just want to focus. Are you still here, babe? The one whose sister is getting married to the pastor. Yeah, they are. All right, I've come across a lot of survivors who have sisters that have married like pastors, leaders, high-ranking members in church cult. One thing I will say to you is because he's gonna have like it's a bit more different than her just marrying someone like, is he a pastor? Yeah, average in the church cult. Because if he's a pastor, he's seen as a spiritual son, and so he's under like whoever his spiritual father is. So basically that means that his pastor owns him, and then whoever your sister's pastor is, he will own her. Yeah. So essentially, once they get married, your sister, if she might have had a bit more autonomy prior to getting married. When they get married, they have no autonomy. If she gave you little texts before and all of that will stop. So the main thing that they want to do, and when the husbands come in, that's when they push the family out. They don't do it before the husbands come in because the family will start to like come down to the church, start to think. So what they do is they groom the young girls to want to get married young. So the young girls are getting married anywhere from 18, 19 and upwards. And then when they get the husband, that's when the family get pushed out, because then the husband's there, the head of the home, the family, whatever. And then the family just think, oh, she's married, she's getting on with married life. You don't question it. Yeah, that's when the isolation really starts. And so my advice to you would be, just don't let them isolate her from you, okay? Don't start. If you have already, I wouldn't advise you to say it's a cult, to come against the cult, to question her, anything like that, because you're just going to push her further away. You want to try and keep as much contact with her as possible, especially when they get married and they start to have kids. A lot of women who are married to pastors or who are entrenched in these missionary, like these environments, and they're married to high-ranking pastors, the pressure is on them more. They got to sit in the front row. They got to make more sacrifices. When they're pregnant, they're expected to do more than the average member. Women can get like all different types of stuff. Cysts on ovaries, fibromyalgia can make it harder for them to conceive. So she could go through a period of not being able to conceive and withdrawing, and when they become wives, they become a shell of themselves. They let themselves go. So you'll start to naturally see all of this happening. My mum used to do things like buy me nice things every now and then, because I didn't used to buy myself nothing. We were poor. Like, do you know what I mean? As I said to you, I was the main breadwinner. I couldn't afford to really like be buying myself clothes and stuff like that. I had to spend all of my money on my baby girl at the time. So I just looked a mess. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was just wearing secondhand clothes. A lot of the time, like the young, especially when they're young couples, they're youngly married, and then they have kids young. That's when you see the most poverty, and it's heartbreaking. And they try and cover it up, and they try and look as well put together as they can, but we can see your visible vulnerability, sweetie. We can see that you're poor. Okay. Oh God. Do you know what I think the saddest thing for me is? So my advice to you is to just be there for her. Just show her love when you can. When you can go and visit the church, I would say when they start getting a beloved and this kind of stuff, you got to fight for her. So if you can, as much as the church is a JOKE, try and go like on a Sunday, because if she thinks that she possibly might be able to save your soul, you'll get a little bit more interaction. Yeah. So when they've got them events like, Swollen Sunday or Sit by Your Soul Sunday or Save a Soul Wednesday or whatever it is, just go. Have a little, I think, little thing in your ear. You'll get some free food most likely, but it'll be long as hell. You'll be in there for 4 hours. So make 4 hours plus. So make sure you arrive late. Don't arrive on the time, and she won't care anyway, because they're DUMB when they're in there. So even if you come and everything's finished, she'll be like, yes, the Lord has saved my brother. He's come to the service, even though you didn't hear nothing. The service is done. They're that DUMB. They're that brainwashed. Them ones. And that's why you hate HATE to see me come in. That's why you mad, because you built like your dad. And you know I speak truth. No matter who comes on and does this cult thing, ain't nobody do it like me, babes, because I give the real deal. And as they're sitting there, as much as they come on to troll me and HATE me, they can't help but see and say and know it's the truth. And that's why when they come on here and they listen to me, it's mad cognitive dissonance. Why? Because your brain is telling you something, but your body's telling you something else. And then the words of your ABUSer, and it doesn't have to be a pastor, it could be your boyfriend, love. It could be your girlfriend, it could be your father, it could be your mother, it could be your boss. Because the tactics are all the same. And for some of us, you'll have a double whammy. You would have been in an abusive marriage and you're dealing with an abusive church cult at the same damn time. So people who deal with that dynamic, they usually come out with major health issues, major health conditions, because it's just too much. Like, dealing with the church cult on its own is a lot. And then when you're married to a narc on top of it, it's an unaliver. That's why a lot of women, there was this woman in my church cult, she had a bleed in her brain. And guys, she was in the church that night until 10 o'clock, doing church stuff, cleaning it up. The girl got home and she unalived within 2 hours. And she kept saying she had a headache, like a really bad headache. So my girl was working through a bleed in the brain because she was indoctrinated that much. She was in that much pain, because they tell you got to have faith. You got to have faith. So how we can tell if you're a real born again Christian is if you got faith as small as a mustard seed. You say to this mountain, be removed, and it will be removed. And that's even hypothetical, because a mountain can never be removed. But when you're in there, they be having you think, because you're that DUMB. Oh, scented HJ in the car. You're that DUMB that you will believe, yeah, that if your pastor says that you can physically go and uproot that mountain because you've got faith as small as a mustard seed, that you will physically be able to uproot the mountain. That's how DUMB they are. That's why they're believing in dragons and fairy tales and donkeys that spoke and bushes of fire that spoke and staffs that turned into snakes. And then they want to come and have some chat for us. Oh, please. Oh, let's not do that, baby. Let's not do that, baby. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. And then when people, it's 2026 and we've got advanced information and advanced technology, and we've got all of this knowledge, at the grasp of our fingertips. You want to come and be playing the victim, just like the abusers do. You're pointing your finger at the world, calling people Jezebels, EVIL, you're this, you're that, you're worldly, you don't love God. You are the ones who have been doing all of the ABUSE. Us in the world, we're just trying to live our peaceful life, go to work, get our mortgage, retire, and live a nice life. It's y'all that are on the street screaming and begging us to come inside. Yeah? Do you see the type of like manipulation? Oh, thank you playing the game. Thank you playing the game, says stay striving. Well, I've broken out of the matrix. I've broken free from patriarch. I'm divorced. I have 2 daughters, so we are a matriarchal household. And I will never be, is that my Missile Rose? And I will always love you. Where you been? Where you been, bitch? Like, where you been? Like, that's what I'm saying. I was always my ninjas' favorites. Because you know me, I'd just be cussing them just like that. Like, sing a nice little song. Because I'm sweet. I'm a sweetheart. I can cause a lot of commotion. I'd make them want to unalive me. But then the loving is good. The schmegs is good. Your girl is pretty, intelligent, funny. I can sing. I can cook. I can clean. I'm humble with it. I never said I wouldn't cook and I wouldn't clean. You just got to pay me well. Because a cleaner, she gets paid to clean. Miss El Reyes, I love you. You've given me a new boost of energy. You are a strong soul, babes. You should definitely do song covers. Read, Rye. Is it Rye or Ree? All right, then. Because you know what? And guys, you know what? I'm not going to say what I was going to say because you know what? I've turned over a new leaf and I'm moving silence. But guys, you're just going to start seeing things happening, yeah, very soon. But as I said to you, my kids come first. So once I'm sorting out what I have to sort out behind the scenes for the sake of my kids, then I'll get back onto doing everything, the cult stuff, the music, all of the stuff that we were doing behind the scenes. And the people that were involved with the secret project that I had started last year, you will be contacted. I will be in contact with you in due course to update the details. But that's why I just have to get this out of the way that I'm dealing with so that I'm completely free. And no matter what the outcome is, Minakir. You get me? I don't care what the outcome is, bruv. Minakir, because I'll be free. I won't be controlled. Whatever the outcome is, I'll have full freedom. Does that make sense, guys? I will finally be free. By October of this year, I will finally be free. For us to do what we need to do and for me to just, I owe it to myself to go hard and make all of my dreams that I want to make happen for myself happen. Like my singing, like all of the other things that I got going on behind the scenes. Because guys, as you know, I'm not lazy. I'm not one of those people who can sit like I've had this disability. I can't sit in my house and not do nothing. That's why I've started curing, frigging doing, like sculpted artisan sculpting of the candles. Life has been lifing, queen, but I'm better now. Yeah, me too, babe. I ain't been on there much. You've been seeing. Life has been lifing for true. And there's a lot more other stuff like my creative talents, like things that I've birthed behind the scenes. Because guys, do you know what I've realized about God? Yeah. There's a time in everyone's life, if you're not EVIL, where you'll be brought into like this void. Because it's like in the darkness, you can't produce anything without darkness. There has to be, in order for there to be light, there has to be darkness. When you look at the womb, the stomach, it's dark in there. And then the baby comes out into the portal of light, yeah? So there always has to be darkness. Thank you, my love. So for me, this season of being in the void, it's birthed a lot of things because I've had to do what I got to do to survive, and I've nurtured and found a lot of talents within myself, like workshops, and I've developed workshops for survivors, somatic workshops as well. So as us having like our survivor link ups, we'll also have workshops, and those workshops can include children as well. Those workshops can include children. Because, for example, if I'm doing the candle, the sculpting stuff, or we're doing a creative workshop, there's single mothers that just aren't going to have childcare. Do you know what I mean? And amongst ourselves, I'm sure we can work it out, because that's what communities are, where we have a little, like a little creche situation for the kids going on. and then we can take time and looking after the kids. And I hate the way in church cults, yeah, it's the same people who do the kids ministry. And I never understood how these girls would listen to anything or learn anything or grow in the Lord or anything like that. Because for the whole services, they'd be in the back with the kids. And that's why the kids ministry, if your child is going to get ABUSED'd, going to get graped, going to get essayed, it's going to be in the child's ministries. Because that is the most isolated, disconnected ministry from the rest. It's always, you have to go into a different building to get to the kids ministry, or outside, or it's disconnected from the church. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you've got to think as a mother where your head's at when you're dropping off your kid, because it's not like I didn't think, oh my God, because my church, it never had no security, no gate, no lock, no nothing. Any stranger could walk in from the street, go in there and just start bussing, you know what, like we're in kindergarten in America. And I always used to think, oh my God, like what if somebody just came in, like someone psycho, and started unaliving the kids in there? Because there was no security. So although I had to hand my child in, because that's what you have to do. That's the rules, like, because they start to get indoctrinated and go through the system, right? But that thought used to come to my head, and that's the cognitive dissonance. That's the cognitive dissonance that happens. You know, you kind of think, I know that something could happen to my child, but I've got to do it. So you bypass it, and in they go. And even the people that are working with the kids, they're not listening to no scriptures, none of the word, nothing. So how do we know that they're not going to do stuff to our kids? Do you know what I mean? When they're supposed to be hearing the word, they're with the kids. OMG, Queen, it's crazy that you're talking about marriage. I met this guy who was talking about making me the mother of his kids and marriage, and I realized then and there that I got commitment issues. Oh God, yeah, because I always forget that you're young, because I just want to tell all the women not to do it. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's the trauma of being married. Like immediately I want to be like, no, don't do it, please. Someone please call 911. You know what I mean? Like, bitch, don't do it. But I realize, you know, there's young girls, there's girls that want to have a baby to see what it looks like, but it's not all what it's cracked up to be, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's not commitment issues. It's wisdom. Did you say it's wisdom? What's OTS? Because you know I'm an auntie. But you know what, babe? Some people want to experience it. Do you know what I mean? They want to experience like the love, but when you go for it and you see what it's all about, yeah. Just make sure that he worships you, babe. Do you know what I mean? Because at least he'll be like kissing your feet. There is one guy that I could have married after after my marriage, and that's why I was so hurt by what happened. Because I really did think that I could be with him. Do you know what I mean? Like for the rest of my life, and then it didn't work out. But guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I told you the whole story, you'd be like, no, like Leah, you are actually like, yeah, you're definitely neurodivergent. You are definitely a bubbly like blonde, because yeah. But I will tell the story one day, but I'm just not gonna tell it now because I got haters. And I got people who are coming on here specifically to sit down and try and get information to use against me. So I don't want them to know my business. You lot, I'm gonna do. There'll be a tell-all next year, babes. Next year is gonna be crazy. Do you know what I feel like? I feel like these past couple of years has been like us healing, but also like a lot of exposure. And then I feel like 2027, that's when we're gonna just see like everybody going crazy, like going wild. Like I feel like we're gonna have like really. That's when I think we're gonna start seeing, because you know, like up until this point, we've been on the archaic old earth system where it's like a 2.0 family is seen better than a single home family, whether the dad's a PDF and beating on the mum and essaying the child, you know, that is a better family because they're married and they go to church, and they're married and they go to church. Then the single mother that doesn't go to church, she's an atheist. But she's emotionally intelligent. She nurtures her child. Do you see what I mean? So we're starting to realize, because what I wanted to actually do was look at the research on behind, you know, like the 2.0 family. Like, where did that come from? PhD, maybe you know, was it developed in the 60s? Is it a Eurocentric theory? My mind is thinking, you know, when that theory was coined, you know, that was very much, you know, it was the patriarchal system. If it was in the 50s, you know, very much like women's places at home. And now that we're seeing like researchers, the world has changed. And those researchers are, you know, maybe GAY women who have adopted and are carrying out the research. Do you understand what I'm saying? So remember I said to you, there's equilibrium, because people from all different walks, shapes and sizes are rising up to get into all these different positions, and they are making changes. The nuclear family, yeah, it's tier to capitalism. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's perfect how you said it. So again, the people who are in the old earth system are like the washed up cult trolls. Yeah, they're going to stay in the old system. Like the women are going to continue to marry the breakies, going to continue with the cycles of trauma and abuse. Their kids are going to grow up, be on TikTok shaming them and exposing their whole family. It's going to be that same cycle. Yeah, and it's going to take it's going to continue to happen until there's a generation cycle breaker. Okay, so I think now that in 2026 people are saying, oh, actually we want to look at same schmegs couples, and does that work better? Do you know what I mean? Can they show a child more love? Is a child really better off in a 2-point thing family than a single mother? Because so much ABUSE has been swept under the rug. Do you know how many children should have been removed out of their mother and their father's care? How many children should have had social services involvement, but because they're married and they go to church every Sunday, they're Mr. and Mrs. Akukum, and they go to church in their matching dressing, and then they go to school, and daddy picks up the child every day. They're early for school, and they never misses school, and they're early, and the dad is never late. He picks up the child. It's all perfect. It's all perfect on paper. Every school trip gets to be paid. Everything is perfect. But the single mother's running late because she's got 2 kids and she's got bipolar, but she's doing the best for her kids. She's not putting her hand on her kids. She's not starving her kids. But that 2.0 family are putting hands on their kids to the point where their child is leaking. Do you know how many kids, every time I come onto this app, I see a child with a brown face just like mine talking about the trauma from they've endured from their mother, talking about the trauma that they've endured from their dad. Men, big grown-ass men. That guy, what's his name? Chuku, one of our survivors. He does so much candid, vulnerable content. And once I get better and I'm going to start doing content, not with all of the people who have spoken out, but my legit codees like Faco. She's one. She does some wicked content, just saying it as it is, man. Chuku, just saying it as it is, like just saying this is what my mum did to me, and he's healing from it. There's a few more other survivors, you know, survivors that have deconstructed, just outside in these streets, just being free, just releasing their trauma. But it's these survivors, these type of survivors that have spoken out. And during this time, I've been an observer, guys. I haven't missed a blood clot beat but I've been behind the scenes. And the war and the battles that I'm fighting, they are behind the scenes. They are in the shadows and the darkness. And I have to fight these battles in order for me to be a liberal, free agent, and for me to be able to just be free. For me to just be free from all attachments that I had from the cult. I don't want nothing to do with my attachments from the cult. The only thing I want to keep is my kids. That's the only good thing to have come out of all of this cult thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, first thing in the morning, innit? I don't know whether it's because of the trauma and control I experience in the cult and at home. Anything that involves commitment, anything that looks like responsibility, I'm good. Yeah, so you're just running because you just break down and become depressed and you don't know why. And you're trying to unpack why you don't know why. But you're young though. Just use that guy as your practice. Are you a virgin? Just quickly, if you're not a virgin, because that's a bit of a personal question. If you're not a virgin and he's got good D and he's infatuated, loves you, wants to marry you, whatever, just use him as practice. Just make sure you're on contraception. Do you know what I mean? I would recommend the coil to every girl, but if you haven't had kids before, you'll be scared that you can't have kids. It took me so long to get on the coil, but now I'm just going to get it taken out because I'm never going to have schmegs again anyway. I don't want another man to touch me. I just don't want another man to touch me. Like, I can kick it with them. I don't mind, like, like make like them worshipping me and lusting over me and like buying me stuff and that. But guys, do you know, even when I'm in the mobility scooter, the man them are still watching, the ones in the cars, and I'm getting elderly guys watching me as well. Elderly whitey guys. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm done with uncles. If I had continued dating, my go-to would have been whitey elderly, 60 plus. I would have said 70 plus, but because I know that's really controversial, I swear down, because I don't want to spend much time with you. You've probably got another 10 years left. I don't want to spend much time with you. Do you know what I mean? I just don't want to work. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm with you, I don't want to work. So, because if you're with a man, why are you working? Innit, Miss K? I'm so tired of uncles, fully drained of them. Yeah, you have to give them a break. If you're finessing them, it's a job. Do you know what I mean? So you go in, you get the peas, and then you just stuck them, you just leave them because it's just finessing. But when you're actually attracted to them, like myself, and the problem with these uncles were they had to like believe that I actually liked them, because I was taking their money as well, but I wasn't just taking their money like other beautiful young women. I actually liked them. So when we were like, intimate and we were out and stuff, like I would get spoiled extra because I actually liked him. Do you know one guy broke up with me because he didn't believe that I was divorced? Do you know Nigerian men, they're lovers at heart, but they're players. So they're not lying to you. They love you, but they also love Grace and Adjoa and Vicky and Terry and Molly and Collie. Do you know what I mean? But they're just lover boys, and they don't know. And because a lot of them have been brought up by, like, they've been brought up in meshed relationships. So most of the men have wounded feminine energy. Yeah. So that's why they sleep around a lot. They like to have like wives and then have like side pieces, and they really do. I feel like those men, because a lot of them have had enabling mothers, because a lot of them have been doormats. I feel like they're like little boys. They're not really. I feel like because of the trauma, especially like the dads are usually quite abusive, or they're prolific cheaters. A lot of the uncles haven't been shown love. They don't even show love to their kids. Do you know what I mean? I was going out with young uncles that had kids older than me. I had uncles that I was dating whose kids were older than me and flying him abroad on first class. Like when they've sent them to private school, they've done all of the stuff, and now their kids have got their good jobs. And that's those are the kind of men I like to date. I don't like to date men who have commitments, like they've got kids and they've got, like I said to that guy I was seeing, I said to him, you've got like 3 kids. Like, how are you going to be able to, like, are you going to be able to provide for me? Like you don't have kids? Because I don't want to hear, oh, I've got to pay for, get my child this, I've got to get my child. I don't care, because that's not the arrangement we had. Do you know what I'm saying? The arrangement we had was whether you have kids or not, bills are getting paid. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're doing what you got to do for me. Guys, within like a month or two, this guy started playing up. I just had to discard him. And the last thing I said to him is, there's going to be a time, there'll be a time that comes when you need me, and I'm not going to be there for you. Lo and behold, daddy unalived. I think his dad unalived and his mum got some terminal thing. Who does he come crying to? Me. Spiritual girly. Because now you want to come and siphon my energy, innit? Now you want to come and get the rose baths. You want the encouraging words. You need a divine feminine to heal the marrows of your soul and body. Sorry, love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore, baby. I'm on the Orient Express. I'm gone. The only thing that you're gonna have from me is that crystal that I gave you to keep the negative energy out of the car. Honestly, MEN are like they're like doggy dogs. You have to get one with the right nature, because if you get a rowdy one, they take longer to train. They'll just be doing whatever they want. They won't listen to you. They won't, do you know what I mean? And the problem is, men have been discussing women like this for years and years and years, hence why they've been able to ABUSE us for so long. But women have just been going back like FOOLs. So this is, this is what I'll end with as well, actually, and then I'll get to Miss Al Ray's comment. And this is why there's this narcissistic collapse and these church cults are falling apart. Why? Because women are the backbone. Women are the machines of these institutions. And behind the scenes, guys, please like up the live. Let's get over 10K, guys. Women are the ones who do all the work, and then they put the men in the little outfits. They put them in the little uniforms, the pastor uniforms with the collar, and then they stand up and do all of the front facing work. They get all the claps. They get everyone bowing to them, whilst the women are laving themselves out, working to the bone. They get no recognition. They get a good husband if they're lucky. And then that woman has just been passed on as a handler to that man as a reward. Do you know that there are pastors that have given women as wives to this man? And they've even said in preaching, this is your reward. And we'll be sitting there and the wife will even be sitting there, like smiling, like taking it like it's a compliment. Like there are pastors who have given men certain wives as a reward. Why? Because they're DUMB, they're doormats, they're going to cook, they're going to clean, and they're going to take everything that he throws at them. As you like, master. That girl is so indoctrinated that, because the more indoctrinated the girl is, she's married to her pastor, firstly. Yeah, because you're not in a marital commitment with God. You're in a marital commitment with the pastor and the cult. So they're already in a marital commitment with the pastor. And all the single women are spiritual daughters of the house. And we're in this weird enmeshment relationship with the pastor, where we're like his sister wives. We don't have schmegs. It's like we're keeping ourselves, and then we tell the pastor about our thoughts, and it's really dysfunctional. And so he's our handler. So the pastors are the handlers, and then they pass us on to our husbands. They give us away to our husbands, which are the new handlers. So effectively, your husband is lucky because whatever the pastor tells the wife to do, they're going to do. So he's not going to get no problems with that woman, because whatever the husband, if she's misbehaving, and you see, like me, my pastor could tell me, Leah, sit, and I would sit. Leah, think. But because my ex-husband, I recruited him in, and he wasn't a homegrown guy. So when he first came, he didn't know the power that he had through my pastor, if that makes sense. But when my pastor came back, that's when he realized the power that he had, but it was too late because then we had the pandemic and it closed down. But he weren't a true son of the house. So thank God, because I would have got even more exploited. So the long and short of it is, if my pastor called me in, me and my husband could have got into an argument. But if my pastor is saying to me, and then let's say that I stopped having schmegs with him because I'm peed off with him, I don't want to chat to him, I could come in the office because he's gone and complain to my pastor, and my pastor will tell me what my role is as a wife, my duties, that I have to have schmegs with my husband because of A, B, C, D. Then he'll make a joke at the end and he'll be like, Leah, you have to do what I've told you to do now. Don't think that because you're a wife now that I can't come and spank you, or whatever it is that they're saying, whatever it is that they say or they do up or whatever. And then he'll bust a joke. Be on your way. And then as you're walking out, he'll be like, make sure that you're pleasing your husband the way that he needs to be pleased. Because if he comes back next week Sunday and he tells me that you've been laying there like a log, the pastors would be preaching and they would say that the women lay there like a log. So that's why the husbands are looking at other women in the church, and the husbands have had affairs because the wives are like logs. Or what did Bishop Richard used to say? He used to call her the stone of ages. Thou shalt not be moved. Guys, the stuff I say, this is why so many people have left these church cults, because these are the things that their pastors are saying every Sunday. I'm not just giving them cult scriptures. I'm not just giving them me in a hospital bed to see the trauma. I'm not just giving them survivors speaking out, because this indoctrination is serious. The magic on these religions is serious. It's forbidden magic. So, because that type of magic is forbidden, like when you're casting spells on people and you're not telling them, spiritual hygiene, you're not asking for consent, permission, it's not allowed. Like love spells are not allowed to like cast people to fall in love with you. It's not allowed. Rock of Ages, yeah, man. Looking at women in the church, yeah, man. Guys, They used to talk about wives, like their relationships. Like say that the wife came to the pastor to complain that the husband's not giving her the good. And she's complaining to the pastor that his piece isn't the right size and amount. And then the pastor will come and say, that's why you have to be careful, the women that you marry. Because your pastor will tell you no. And you'll be looking at her and you'll be saying, look, Coca-Cola bottle, Coca-Cola shape. You're going to follow Coca-Cola shape. And then when you get Coca-Cola bottle, she is in my office saying that you cannot manage her in the bedroom department. And if you had listened to me and you had gone for skinny Sally, she would have been content. She would have been saying more. But you decided to go for Ajua, heavy Coca-Cola bottle. And now she cannot even feel when there is something going on because her buttocks is so large and yours is so small. This is the kind of stuff they be saying in preaching, guys. I swear to God. A lot of the uncles, they're not that literate. A lot of them, English is not their first language. I'll just keep it real with you. They struggle to find the British words to explain what they're saying. Things come out rago, bush. People are humiliated just because they don't have articulation and intelligence. And then you want to come and have some chat for me? Never, not a day in your life. So anyone that thinks that they've got chat for me or thinks, oh, Leah's quieted down, no. The fire that's in my belly, God has had to teach me. God, this season, guys, my mouth's too big. I talk too much. God had to sit me down and teach me it's not about what you can do with this. Because I've had to fight, guys, from young, man. I've always been so beautiful and just around so many haters. And the thing is about pretty girls is other girls think they can give us bad looks, you know, chat to us any way they want, stare us out. Like when gal them look at me and and they start staring, I take off the glasses and then I start to sit like this and get comfortable. You know, before I was disabled, I really start staring gal down like what's up? Yeah, they're shocked and they're shocked. And that's when they start looking around like or when I just take off my wig, when a bitch is just, when I just take off my wig and I'm like, do you want to go? You know, in the club, because I'm Becky with the good hair, baby. So I don't care. I used to take off that wig in the club. I don't care. And funnily enough, the rich guys will all be running around me because they like that. The rich guys, it's like they're living in a film. They love it. They love hood chicks. Not to necessarily wifey but to, if you want to get peace, and you go for them, the 419ers, they love a hood chick. They love all of that, the rocking it out, the hoodness, because they're like camp. Do you know what I mean? Like those guys, 419ers, they aren't bad, man. So when they're with you, they feel bad. Do you know what I mean? It's like they feel a bit bad. It's like that. Anyway, how did we get here? What are we talking about? Anyway, I had whole notes. We didn't get there. I don't know why I started talking about this. Yeah, as a young girl, I was always believed. I was tall. I was lanky. I didn't have no back off. I just had these. I've always been busty. So I just looked like an ironing board and I just had these titties, yeah? And gal them used to try and bully me, like, you know, because I'm tall and that, and then try and bully me about my toes and that. I just would rock it out with gal them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So no one's saying anything to me. And then I've had to fight for everything, guys. It's like the women are jealous of me. Men want to sleep with me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I just never got a break. I've always had to fight for everything. My life has been a struggle and a fight. And that's why I'm a fighter. That's why I'm a survivor. That's why I am the way I am. And not many people really understand me. They don't get me. I've been misunderstood. My passion has been mistaken for aggression. You know, my love for trying to hide something or you know what I mean? Like I get misunderstood a lot and because I'm neurodivergent. But I just want to encourage everybody today. We are who we are and we don't need to change for anybody. We've created our own collective. And then me coming on here and sharing this and you guys commenting in the comment section and us having this space and having this movement, we have created this community. We did this and we validate ourselves. Guys, when you don't see me, you still see me. We don't need to be online seeing each other to be connected as a tether. Guys, this realm that we live in is a 3D realm. Majority of the work that I'm doing is spiritual work. It's behind the scenes, yeah, for the collective, for myself. And this particular season, I couldn't have been out on the internet coming on and doing what I was doing, guys, because my social media would have got locked off. There wouldn't have been no movement. All of the content would have got taken. So I had to come offline. I had to learn to control myself, because this is something, guys, that could have really effed things up for us and myself, because someone tried to draw me out, turn me MAD, and then flip the script and try and act like the victim when they're the abuser. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that have been going down. And once I'm able, when it is safe for me to do so, I will be exposing everything. And at that time, no one's going to be able to stop me. There won't be nothing in place to stop me. Even if it's 2 years, 3, it's getting exposed. Everybody's getting exposed that did me dirty in this situation, and it will go viral, because and individuals know. That's why they're trying to put gag orders on your girl, and they're trying to stop your girl from speaking out. Because when the world hear what I've got to say about what I've been going through these almost 6 months, ciao. It's just a viral story, isn't it? Because it's like something out of the movies. Like, like, guys, I sit here and I cannot believe that I'm going through what I'm going through behind the scenes, and my kids are going through what they're going through behind the scenes. It's absolutely crazy. And to be honest, I don't think there's been a case like this before. And I can't say too much, but I don't think there's been a case of this nature like this before. Just because, you know, we're in 2026, we've got artificial intelligence, we've got a lot of like the internet, like online, you know, like there's a lot, like it's like we're basically living in a virtual reality and a virtual world. And I also think that there's been a lot of like laws and like legislations around like cyberbullying, policing, like content that can be put out there, rightly so, to protect other people from things like revenge popcorn and things like that. But then how do we protect the creators that are vulnerable, that are pouring they're making themselves vulnerable, creating communities, helping others from other people, cherry picking content and using that in court? Do you know what I mean? Because it's not really fair, is it? If somebody is doing a 6-hour live, you can be on these lives for 24 hours. And out of that 6-hour live, for a moment, there's a reactive, abusive moment, and I cuss a troll or whatever, and someone screenshots that and gives it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be protection of content creators as well. It's all right, babe. Babe, I'm speaking in riddles and you're just hearing a tiny bit and you're saying so sorry. When you hear the full blood clot story, girl, oh my God, it's Netflix. It's a Netflix situation. It's a Netflix situation. What has happened to me over these past 6 months is a Netflix documentary. That's all I'm going to say. And another thing I want to say is, ladies, be careful of men who are jealous of you. Never marry, date, be with a man that is jealous. And I'll tell you what a jealous man is: a female dog. Yeah. Because them type of men, those type of man, yeah, then it's only females that are jealous of females, right? Yeah, Miss K, is this, you know, Wagwan. It's only females that hate on females and that get all like, you know, want to get their nail polish out. And that's what I'm saying to you, man, them that are like that way inclined, those are the ones that will be jealous of their wives and their girlfriends and their sisters and their brethrens, yeah? And that's why when you get man them like Offset, got my baby daddy acting like my baby mama. Yeah, when you get the man them like Offset, oh God, remember Offset? Do you remember when Offset tried to take Cardi B to court, saying that she owes him spousal support, and that ninja been cheating on the woman for their entire relationship? After they're done and she's not with the guy anymore and they're separated, it takes ages, especially if you've got a man that acts like they don't have money. And then all of a sudden they have money to do divorces, or they're part of post-separation abuse is something that you can call litigation abuse. And the men, when they don't have proximity to you, and then you start to take them to court and start litigation, they can abuse you through litigation, if that makes sense. Yeah, they can give falsified information, old footage, do you know what I mean? Like, it's deep. And that can all happen from you going and taking your fast backside into a church cult, going and getting married when you have no business going and getting married that young, marrying a man that you don't know. Just because that guy comes to the church, he could have been coming to the church for 10 years. I don't care. You never know what they're really like. And most of the ABUSers, the PDFs, they're all in there. That's when they can get easiest access to children, and they have no hoops to jump through. There's no laws, there's no governing bodies, there's nothing, there's no policing, free access to kids. A guy who's a PDF can go into one of these spaces and be working with the young people and be working in the kids ministry within 2 weeks, or even on the same day. Even the ones you're not married to do the same. Yeah, they're all the blood clot same. I didn't even see myself working in corporate because it reminds me of the cult. I hate rules. I want to wear what I want and just be authentic. Yeah, that's the thing for us survivors. We could be doing a lot more things than we're doing, babe. Like, I could have been making loads of money, but like my ethically, certain things don't sit well with me. Do you know what I mean? Because of what I've been through as a survivor. Do you get it? Like, I'd rather have like less money, but have a rich, wealthy way of life, and not be like a slave to the system, like being a bottom bee. Do you get what I'm saying? To the government? Like, I'd rather have my freedom. Do you understand what I'm saying? That was one of my biggest concerns about church. They wanted me to send my niece to the kids club on the first day. Listen, even if a child is sitting on a man's lap and he's a PDF, he can get aroused, and that can be enough for him. There was an old guy, and I'm going to go after this, guys, and I just used to get the feeling that he was a PDF, and I was severely indoctrinated, but I just always used to get that feeling, you know. And he unalived, and the thing is, like, the kids that would have been getting ABUSE'd by this old geezer, yeah, they're like my kids' ages and younger. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is, this is just the start. By the time I've built this thing properly, look, I haven't even done much yet. I've been sick. I've just sat on the internet and spoken and done a bit of content. Look at the domino effect, the fire is created as a collective consciousness, because we've brought that consciousness up, yeah? Because we're not just all wallowing away in our little pockets feeling sorry for ourselves. We're part of a community, and that collective consciousness, there's more of us thinking that way. So it's like the consciousness is raising, so more people have access to those cognitions of thinking. Yeah, so that's where the equilibrium is coming now. On post, when you say anything like against the religious, oh my God, you were outnumbered by far. But now we're starting to see more people coming in. Even Christians that don't agree with this BS are coming in. The ones with common sense and saying, no, I'm of the faith, and I don't agree with that. And so what's happening now is we're seeing a clear divide just from EVIL and good. That's all it is. Dark and light. And it's become as clear as day. And on that note, I'm going to go, guys. Have you enjoyed the live? Look, guys, I'm going to keep it real. I've got to do Bella in. Bella inside. Now sit. Why do you look like you're electrified? Come. Sorry, guys. You would think churches would be paramount. I'm shocked. You would think checks would be paramount. Absolutely not. you lot, I'm so raggo. I just forgot I'm online. Yeah. So just quickly back to what Miss El Rose said. Anything that feels like tyrannical, authoritarian, being told what to do, our body will reject it. And that's why I'm going to start the series with like the institutional betrayal, and just breaking down that social services, mental health services, NHS, housing, they're all corrupt, guys. They're all DEVILSs. Not all of them, but most of them, unfortunately. There's a lot of unqualified, underqualified, inadequate, can barely string a sentence together, can barely. The social workers that we have nowadays can't even they don't even have professional acumen or articulation. They just sound DUMB. Do you know what I mean? And all the professionals are sitting there looking and thinking, is this woman or this man all right? He just sat. And the thing about social work is, you can have the title, but it's your professional stripes that validate you. You've got to be able to build networks. Networking is a skill set. They're not just words that we write on the CV. That's why you write them words on the CV. Then when you get to you do the job, you can't build networks with people. But because they're so desperate to have social workers doing a job they can't do and messing people up even more than if they didn't have a social worker, what we've got is totally inadequate, glorified administrators. They've memorized a system. So when a situation is out of that box, they're not qualified. And the corrupt parent knows that. And they'll be sitting there telling the social worker, you're so smart. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, please. And in the brother's head, he's thinking, you dumb so-and-so. Do you know what I mean? Because he knows most of the social workers aren't even educated. Do you know what I mean? That's why they miss so much. There's no critical thinking. There's no cognitive thinking. That's why the baby P's are unaliving. That's why a woman can go and cover her baby with chocolate to hide bruises, because they're that overworked, but they're also that they've got that much ego. Do you know what I mean? They don't really want to be there. They're not passionate. They're not serious about the job. They don't realize that the difference between life and unalivement of a child depends on your assessment. They don't care. It's a 9 to 5 to them. They're EVIL, a lot of them, wicked narcissists. They're very wicked institutions, and they're high control organizations. It's a broken system. That's why you've got people screaming in these streets. There's that girl Rena who's saying she's like me, but she does the social services, surviving up social services. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was never brought up in social services. Do you understand? And I don't need to survive anyone, because all I do is survive in these streets. Nobody can't intimidate me. I mean, I care. You get me? Oh my God, PhD, and God forbid you live outside London. God forbid you live outside of London and the workforce is predominantly European. You don't stand a chance, babes. You got to be highly educated. And imagine if you're in a situation where you're in a domestic violent relationship, you're two BLK people in a predominantly ACIS area. The perpetrator knows it's an ACIS area and uses that to their advantage, knowing that they're a DUMB, ignorant ACIS, sits there, nods heads, yes, whatever you say, yes, ma'am, yes. And in the back of their mind just saying, oh, this is just a DUMB, working class, whitey male or female, don't know nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna, this is why they believe me. This is why I can punch up my girlfriend and my kids and get away with it. Because they're ACIS, they're DUMB, they're underqualified, they ain't got no qualifications, and they just want to go home at 5. And on that note, I'm going to go because I feel myself getting riled up TikTok. I might be back later. I might be back later, guys. Okay. So look, I'm going to be real with you. I've got something that I need to do, yeah? And I do need to get that done by tomorrow. But even if I get it half done, I'll come back on. But if I don't get that done today, guys, I ain't coming back on, because guess what? People need to be held accountable for the way that they've treated me, and people need to be held accountable. I don't think that somebody should be in a position of power. I don't think that somebody should hold a recognized ally health professional qualification or any qualification that involves safeguarding or thinging the rights of kids. They should not they should not be practicing. So I've got some ish to do behind the scenes. I've got some receipts that I need to submit to some regulatory bodies, yeah, to show, because you might be doing up your falsified reports and getting and doing whatever you want to say about me, but let's see what the regulatory bodies think, because you and your little social service, you and your little local authority can break the law, can break the legislations, can break the safeguarding, can break the policy, can make people be able to do what they want to me and do up litigation because of your falsified assessments. It's all right. It's all right, baby boy. But the regulatory body, they see it for exactly what it is, my love. They see it for exactly what it is. And I'm not going to stop until the people who have been held responsible for what I've gone through during these 4 months never practice social work again in their life. Because what they have done to me has been I could have gone mad. I could have tried to thing myself. And this is what the social workers are. They're pushing people to these points. They're pushing people to these points, guys. I swear to God. And they don't have as much self-control as me. People are coming on here, naming social workers, naming the local authority. And when you do that and you're in active litigation, you mess it up for yourself. They start taking you to court, and then they've got a reason to do it. But people just aren't that smart. Not that smart. Their emotions are all unregulated. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're coming onto the social media. That it's a cry for help. It's a cry for help. They've tried everything. And at this point, their child got taken away. They're like, I don't care. I'm just going to expose it. But if anybody is having difficulties with social services, or you feel like you've experienced injustice, please don't go to the internet and start to, do all your business, especially if you're in like a dynamic to do with, court arrangements, things like that. Just don't mention any names. Don't talk about discrepancies or conflict over the internet, because it can and will be used against you with enforcement and in the court of law. And if you've got a hating bitch, jealous ex-lover, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, ex-husband, ex-wife, whatever, trust me, they will sit on your social media from morning until night, 24 hours a day, getting all different types of people, girlfriend, boyfriend, mother, father, sister, uncle, to sit down and be screen recorded because they're that obsessed. So please protect yourself, guys. Please make sure, ladies, if you're marrying, don't marry a bitch, because there's loads of them. And on that note, I'm going to go TikTok. I don't know how this live has survived, but I'm glad we made it. And I might be back on later. So keep your notifications on. Love you. All right, YouTube. Oh my God, my voice is going. I got a related tutorial, but I'm not surprised. Is it hate speech? My haters must have been like this. Get her off. Get her off. People are listening. They're going to be able to hear that I'm a bitch. Oh my God, get her off. Get her off. People are going to hear that I'm the bitch ass nigger that I am. Oh God, guys, I've got to go. I've used that word. I love you. Miss El Rose, I love you. I might be back on later. I've got to go, guys.